professional. Yo, goddamn it, you're muted, what? Endearing, it's iconic. Cheese breaks, fade breaks, staying hydrated. It's shorty time. She's a fucking delight. Trial watching, trials and tribulations. It's Camp Shorty calling all nations. What are you drinking? Shall we skip this part? Left or right-handed? Shit, she slid it to the start. She's a fucking professional. Yo, goddamn it, you're muted, what? Endearing, it's iconic. Cheese breaks, fade breaks, staying hydrated. It's shorty time. She's a fucking delight. Psychology corner. Let's learn about stuff. New Miss Shorty music. Calling their bluff. Best chat, best community. We've got the best mods. A safe, supportive sanctuary full of fun and love. Rock out with your cats out. Curse all you want. And here at Camp Shorty, we even say cut. She's a fucking professional. Yo, goddamn it, you're muted, what? Endearing, it's iconic. Cheese breaks, fade breaks, staying hydrated. It's shorty time. She's a fucking delight. Hey, shorties, what's doing, y'all? Get in here, shorties. Let's fucking go. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Imagination is hungry, it needs to be fed. Blind leading the blind, no more put that shit to bed. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Contagion of the psyche. The time is now, full permission. Set your spirit free. Rise up for a brand new day. Trust, hope, believe and pray. Phoenix rising, full moon rising. Here on in, you slay and slay. Life sparkles when you find your people, glimmers in the sun. Revolving door, passing parade was never any fun. Time uncoils that hardened knot, well learned although it was. So find your place in permanence, babe, claim your spot. Rise up for a brand new day. Faith, hope, believe and pray. Phoenix rising, full moon rising. Here on in, you slay and slay. Nothing lasts forever, true, find magic in the moment. Once bitten, thrice shy, yeah, it still hurts though, don't it? Of course it does, but you're okay. Nothing you can't handle. Life, it is magnificent, an everlasting candle. Oh hey, so what do you say? You're gonna live to fight another day. What do you say? You okay? Girl, get out there and slay. Rise up for a brand new day.
Nick. Hi, Shorties. Nick. It's like something from one of those weird Sunday morning evangelical shows. Sir, please. Hi, Shorties. Good to see you. I changed my top. Miss Shorty Music. Very fitting. Hi, Puppy. Puppy knows we're here. Miss Shorty Music. Merch. All proceeds from Miss Shorty merch store go to paying our phenomenal, amazing mods, my beautiful friends. Other than free Karen Reed merch, which will sell proceeds of which 100% of proceeds will go to Karen's Defense Fund. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Nick, that is abuse. That's assault. How dare you? That's assault. In Nick's defense, I'm pretty sure the prompt that I used for that in terms of music style was choir gospel, or perhaps it was Christian rock. So that's the vibe I was going for, and we aced it, right? Oh no, colors. You're in St. Petersburg. Oh, I'm so sorry. I swear I booked you a direct flight, but I guess when you're whatever it is you are in the coalition, you end up flying like military flights. I'm not sure. Hi, Candy. Good to see you. Steph's here. Hi, Steph. Stream Elements is in the house. Please visit my merch store. Poppy just slobbered on me. Fantastic. Hi, everyone. Hi. Simi, hi. That's abuse. Pammy loves it. Good. Thanks. Given that we're about to be inspired and motivated and schooled in how to be able to slay even more prolifically in our lives, courtesy of Lisa Bilyeu, with she of the subtle, delicate jewelry, and Evie Pomporus, I think it was rather a fitting tune. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, sir. Unfortunately, I think it was a deal breaker, and I'd like to know.
It's not a deal breaker, but I'd like to know. Thank you.
Margaret's here. Hi, good to see you. Pammy, did I say hi? Shanwan, hi. Princey, hi. Motion to scream, what the fuck, granted. Hi. Who else? Have I got everybody? Thank you all so much for being here, for sticking around for this next part of Camp Shorty. And if you haven't been here for the last part, hi. Replay crew, how are you? What's up? Sup? See, Nick, I thought so. There you go, winning. Oh, the trial channel. Oh, for the sweetest mods. Aren't they? Aren't our mods just the most fucking delightful people you've ever met? Thank you so much. God, I'll have to get onto my super thanks on your channel, love.
I'll take any motherfucker's money if he giving it away. Shit.
And the best news trial channel, thank you so much. They're so kind and generous of you. You go in the draw for a Miss Shorty merch top, t-shirt or top, Miss Shorty music, or others. In the draw, boom. Got a few names in there. My hair's looking weird. Akasha, are you here? Akasha said my hair looked nice and natural. Girl, I had to fucking curl that shit. It's not natural at all. Hi, AJK. Good to see you. Retired Secret Servant. Thank you. Yes, because X suggests that former. I'm not sure. Okay. Hi, RN Homestead. Good to see you. Let me get my wits about me. Trial, thank you. Trial channel. Oh my, thank you so much. Woo! Thank you. Hi, Shelley. I've missed you in the mix. There's a lot of blue in the chat. I can't see the blue very well. Can't see the green well at all. Oh my God, thank you, the trial channel. I only know those three prompts. Hand glider. Colors is the master avatar. Yes, fair. Good point. Me, yes, me, Akasha. I need attention. Me. Well, anyway, you said my hair looked nice, natural. No, my hair's not like this natural. I bought we'll get to the point in a second, but hi, it's the last one for Camp Shorty for the weekend, and this is what we do. I bought one of those halo hair things that you put long hair in, and I was like, hey, I curled my hair. I'm like, yeah, it's time to get going. I've already pushed the last stream back by 15 minutes, so I didn't put it in. But anyway, thanks. Didn't wash it. Yuck. This is me. I'm delightful. This is funded by Miss Shorty herself. I'm paying it back. That's really kind. Thank you. Rising seas lift all ships, and I'll keep giving you super thanks. We'll just keep tennis, ping pong, backing money back and forward, and YouTube will be like, yes, do it. YouTube, love ya. Best mods, best mods, best mods. Trial channel, best mods. Agree, strongly agree. 10-10 best mods. 14-10. Sherry Berry says Miss Shorty has amazing mods. I adore them too. I adore them. You all are my beautiful friends, and the mod squad, among others, my dearest friends. So blessed. Thanks, Pammy. Finally fed my face. Lovely. And I see the trial channel. You got delicious pizza. Would like pizza. Might even order pizza. Ducking has news. Did I miss it? Okay, KKK. Ducking. What have I missed? Where? What? Ducking. What have I missed? I'm terrible. I'm the worst YouTuber ever. I'm an irresponsible YouTuber. Okay. Is this the news? No idea what's going on in New York City tonight, but fireworks going off in Brooklyn. Are you sure they're fireworks? I still like it. Thanks. I still have buyer's regret on the fringe. I thought you were going back to natural hair color. I am, Nick. Look at my regrowth. Look at that. I got the grays. I really am. My regrowth is like this long now. It's just the ends are black. I can't be stripping that shit. My hair will all fall out. Laura is snacking, crunching on carrot and hummus. Yum. Happy birthday for yesterday again, Laura. Oh, Britt. Hi, Britt. Good to see you. Britt, still the mug thing. The mug thing. You were our very first winner, along with Holly Street and Candy Temple, on that 3-parter where 3 people got a prize. Britt, I've still got your post-it note here. Don't forget, chat. If you see Ava's mom around those YouTube streets, tell her she won. She won. And to get in contact with me either by the website contact us form, or just email me. All one word. It's missshorty@gmail.com. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Hi, Salty. Good to see you. Oh, fantastic. The best mods ever. Most fun chat. My pizzas were paid for by your super thanks. Oh. You know, chat, did you know that you can give super thanks to, because Shandwan, hi Shandwan, thank you so much for your super thanks after the fact from last night's stream. You can, if you make a live, but you want to show your appreciation in a financial way for any channel, not just Camp Shorty, you can do a super thanks. I love the super thanks feature, particularly for a channel like the Trial channel who doesn't have live streams. You can do it. Nicholas Ticholas says the mods are the best on here. Every single one of them. Us chatterboxes adore you for what you do. Yes, Nick. In fact, Nick declined the offer to return to mod status and said he'd prefer to just do his thing as being an avid, thought-provoking question asker, chatter, and just all-round delight. Also, some sound bites in there. Last time you ordered pizza, you fell asleep. Hi, Holly. Thanks for coming by. Girl. Ducking, thank you. You're also wonderful. Okay. Best YouTube creator ever. Oh, well, thanks. I think I try. I do try my best. Sometimes my best isn't quite good enough, but it's endearing, right? It's iconic. Oh, Holly. I just cut, which is ominous, but then we got here. Oh my God. About 5 inches of hair gone. Yeah, I gave my hair a bit of a trim the other day too, because it's ratty and yikes. Kasha says going back to natural hair is hard. I am trying as well. I am naturally dark blonde. I have had dark hair since I was 16. I feel like I should have been born that way. First world problems, right? right? I've been box dyeing the shit out of this hair for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I think, okay, chat. Ladies or men who've gone grey, obviously, as we age, generally our hair turns grey. Do the old hairs, the original hairs, fall out, making way for the new hairs? I know we lose hair all the time, like hundreds of hairs a day, right? My hair feels finer than ever. And it could be because I got half of my hair into a fringe. But I'm wondering, do I have to, like, is it like a first in, first out thing where the old hair is going to all fall out? In which case that explains my fine hair. But yeah. Ah, thanks, gorgeous. I know what you need to hear. Is it this?
I'll take any motherfucker's money if he giving it away. Shit.
Holly, you're in the draw, as always. Holly, do you know that Simi, who you donated your last time you won the draw, she chose the Miss Shorty music logo, this one, but in the t-shirt in berry, and put it, and it's got the logo here. Amazing. It looks amazing on you, Simi. And the fabric's so beautiful, isn't it? Britt Ketchell has never dyed her hair. Wow. That's impressive. Authenticity is best. Good night, Holly, says Steph. Hey, Steph, we have to work out a way for you and I to chat about your advocacy conference experience. Walk and talk chat. Steph, I'll just talk to you right now. But anyway, we only text about 69 times a day. What about, we have Easter coming up. Everybody does. And I won't be working. I may well have like 9 or 10 days off. Shall we, Steph, schedule in there a pre-record together? Unless you want to do a live with me. And then we can share your experiences, because I know you had an amazing time. Steph is going to, excuse me, Advocacy Con next year, the second one, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, sponsored by Camp Shorty. Hi, it's me. I'm Camp Shorty. And I'm offering a second scholarship for next year. So another one, 2 people. I put it out to the small core Shorty community in Fight Club, Discord, whatever. We've got a Discord. Ooh. We burned the last one down and we started a new one, and it's a beautiful, safe space. But if you, Shorties here now in chat, or replay crew, hi, if you would like to go to Advocacy Conference in September next year on a all expenses paid scholarship, let me know. I'm taking submissions. Steph's got her ticket. She's already going. But number 2, you can meet Steph. It's not even anxious about meeting other Shorties. All right, Steph. And experience like some really incredible stuff. Steph is actually now also enrolled to do that, and I'm going to get it wrong. The National Victims Advocacy Certificate? Is that right? So look at that. So one amazing woman, one of my very dearest friends, Steph, had an idea that she wanted to do some advocacy work, become an advocate for, and I don't want to misspeak, Steph, but for victims and their families of crime, violent crimes, who can often be, sadly, bullied and trolled online. Steph is interested in being an advocate for those people because she has some lived experience with a very close friend of hers whose sister was involved in a true crimey thing, and she's been hounded and brutally bullied online, this good friend of Steph's. So from expressing that interest to me, and then me saying, hey, you're going to Advocacy Con, to now enrolling in further continuing education. This is amazing. I love it. Nick says, I had some blonde highlights in the late 80s and a mullet. I must have looked like a right twat. So we're talking hair in the chat, so let me go. Shelley said, I did grey blending last year to ease me into my silver streaks. Yeah, I'm really concerned that to get this black out is going to require bleach. It will. I might do a bleach wash myself. And then I'm going to have even more frail hair. I've started using Olaplex. It's very good. Yes, it's in Albuquerque. Margaret says, went full natural grey platinum years ago and found old hair dye just grew out with every cut. Yes, that's what I'm planning on doing. Yep, that's what I'm planning on doing. Nick was 16 when he had that. Fantastic. Brit and Trial Channel have never dyed their hair. I'm impressed. I've dyed my hair a lot. Lisa is amazing. Thanks. What? Yes, Akasha, you want to go? Do you want to go? Hit me up, girl. Are you on Discord? Are you on Discord? We're talking about Discord now. Whatever. No one's getting in unless we want them in. If you would like to be join our amazing, beautiful Discord, core shorties, you'll be heavily vetted by colors. Let me know. Shoot me an email and we can talk. I think the grey hair looks amazing. Look at Clooney. Miles sexy with grey. Steph almost blocked you. Too much attention. I'm going to scuttle off and hide. No. Hey, Trial Channel, Grays Bay, make it merch. Right? Are we triggered by grey hair? No. Happy, yes. True crime, says Colors, is full of a lot of very unethical shit I have discovered in my investy stuff. Shanwan says, I am humbled every day at my volunteering. Yes. Akasha says, sorry, I already do advocacy work at my work, healthcare, small town in Michigan on the Indiana border. I couldn't pull off going this year, even though it wasn't that far. Well, if you can, it's Steph can give. It's 11th till the 15th of September. Yikes! I'm not renowned for getting the dates of Advocacy Con right. I'm pretty sure that's it. But if you would like to go, hit me up. Yes, hit me up. Shoot me an email, Kasha, and my people could talk to your people. I can PayPal you the money to buy the ticket, and then we can work out the travel and stuff. Because I don't know whether it's still, but there's at the moment a 25% off or $50 discount for early birds for the tickets for next year. Heather, my hair has literally been every shade of the damn rainbow. Same. Colors is going dark plum. Pink. I love it. What's happening? What do I need to investigate? Everything colors. Lucky you've got a computer now. You can fucking do it. Girl, same. Like my hair's, you can't tell. My hair's got these beautiful, I wish they were whiter, beautiful silvery streaks with them. I love them. Like I love them. I wish I could have the black with the gray. I know we've had this conversation. Hair talk. Laura says, I went blonde a few weeks ago, but to blend, my hair is coming in white, not grey. Oh, that sounds gorgeous. Heather, don't tell Heather. She'll be jealous. White, grey. Jealous. Poor Heather got it the worst. Which Heather? This Heather? My Heather? Our Heather? Do you all see this hair? Gorgeous, Pammy. You are gorgeous. Your daughter is gorgeous. Sorry, Steph, but I'm going to say the whole Advocacy Con crew, so Whitney, your beautiful daughter, Pammy, Melissa, Eric, and John were so kind and welcoming and inclusive to Steph. So, like, you've raised a good in there, Pammy. Your kids? Yes, merch, Grays Bay. Somebody write that shit down. You know whose hair is amazing? Melanie Garibay from Monica Samantelli Trial. Yes, her hair is like the shade of my super chat, and I could never. But it's very pretty. It was very, very bright. Okay. Where are we at? I'm so far behind. No, I'm not that far behind. Absolutely jelly over here. Wait, gorgeous hair, Pammy. Is Joe here? Oh, Joe. Hi, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Topic reminder. 26 minutes? No. How? Okay, right. Thanks, Joe. Thank God you're here, Joe. So this is here we are, setting boundaries to take your power back. We've watched, and if you haven't already watched it, wait. If you haven't watched, there's a part 1 to this where we watched all of one episode of Evie speaking to Lisa Bilyeu, who does a women of impact YouTube thing. Lisa Bilyeu has like 1.4 million, 1.35 million subscribers, so she knows what's what. She's done a bunch of interviews with Evie Pomporis, who is an former retired Secret Service agent. She protected Obama, Clinton. Shouldn't say those names unless I know for sure. Definitely Obama. I feel like Clinton, but I could be lying. Fact check. Anyway, this one we're going to watch, is it linked in the description? Can't remember. I will if it's not. Is sort of some best ofs from many of their interviews together. They did a whole series of like 6 called Unstoppable, I think. Let's go.
So you're saying when you're going, I love what you're saying, like you're going in, you don't go in guns blazing, you have a plan, everything is, thought out. In those moments, what happens? I want to go to talk about like intuition and gut, because are there moments where you're in that situation and you've got a gut feeling about something, but you don't necessarily have any proof? Have you had that situation? And then what do you do about it? Because as a young girl, I definitely had a lot of gut, like instincts about things, but I was always so embarrassed to say anything that I never said anything. And then I remember one time when I was about 12 years old, I was walking home from school and I just had a gut feeling someone was following me in a car. And I turned around and there was this guy in a car and he was going very slow. And I remember being like,
Bush.
Well, if you run, like he's going to think you're an idiot because you're running away from a car. And then I was like, but then you could die. So I actually ran home. And it's one of those moments that could...
If that story sounds familiar to you, she told that story to the guy that everybody had a problem with. Could have been any 3 of them, any one of the 3. The short-haired attorney fellow called Jefferson Fisher. She told that story.
Could have been so pinnacle in my life if I hadn't have listened to it. So you're in these moments where there's so much on the line. You've got all these departments, you're maybe arresting someone, and you've got that gut feeling.
So it's so interesting that you share that story. I cannot tell you how many women have shared.
Pause. Joe, no. Definitely after 26 minutes of rambling, your topic and reminder was very handy. And I don't mind if it was unconscious, subconscious, or pointed and targeted. I needed it.
Shared such a similar story. I had the same story happen where it was a woman. She was an anchor that I had been on air with. And she pulled me aside. She said, you know what, a few years ago, I was walking down the sidewalk and I felt somebody behind me and I felt uncomfortable, but he didn't do anything. He didn't say anything. And she's like, I thought about crossing the street. I didn't do it because I didn't want to be rude, because he'd be like, all right, lady, relax. She's like, I didn't cross the street. I stayed there. And you know what he did? He robbed me.
Ooh.
So in those situations, you have my blessing to be rude, because it's not about that. It's like, let them feel offended. Or even when you're waiting online at Starbucks, if I have one of those people who really like to be on top of me, I mean, I will turn around, I'll give them a look. Or if I don't like the way I feel, I get up and leave. Move.
Yes.
Go. Don't be there. So it's really about trusting your instincts.
I'm going to say, so this is they're talking about a physical proximity if you're not feeling comfortable in a physical situation in real life. Same goes for online situations, right? You can set and should set, Lisa, not the best pause, sorry. Oh, look, she's not wearing the jewelry you love, Nick, only the watch. But this is years ago. Wait. You can set boundaries, and you should set boundaries. I set boundaries often. This is from 2 years ago. but possibly this is a compilation. The interview itself was more likely 4 or 5 years ago. Setting boundaries is so important. It does make you feel empowered. It can be potentially a risky move because people don't love boundaries, in my experience. People don't love boundaries, and it's problematic because asserting them, as I do, can mean that some people can double down and potentially often walk away because they like the version of you that didn't set those boundaries. And if that's the case, they weren't made to be in your life after all, in my opinion. But it's a grief-filled journey, in my opinion, setting boundaries. All I can suggest, and we'll carry on in a minute, but all I can suggest is that the more of us who are us, shorties, who feel comfortable with setting boundaries for ourselves and knowing, knowing what we feel comfortable with in life and what we don't feel comfortable with, being able to articulate those things and maintain those firm, clear, but kindly articulated boundaries, having those honest upfront conversations with people about why we don't have to explain yourself, but if you want to, why you are feeling the need to assert that boundary, big or small. I've given the example before. I don't love the thumbs up as a react. I do on YouTube, don't forget. But in terms of messaging, I don't love thumbs up. It to me feels, and it's my issue. It feels kind of passive aggressive. I'll be going the heart or the ha-ha. And I've been known to say, hey, I don't love the thumbs up. Can we not use it? And then, if the other person's like, yeah, weirdo, but okay. Let me see if I can get closed captions. Yes. Carry on, girls, ladies, badasses.
If it feels wrong, follow it. There's actually science that the Department of Defense is doing where they're researching your sixth sense, and they found that it actually works in the field.
Pause.
And they've been investing money into it to...
Absolutely, Colors. Good point. I love boundaries both ways. I need to know parameters. I'll run my mouth. I'll say, I need to know. I like rules. I like to know what system rules are, the rules of society, the rules of a workplace, standard operating procedures. Same with interpersonal relationships. Let me know where your boundaries are and I will adhere to them. I respect boundaries deeply. If I don't know what your boundaries are, I'm kind of flying blind. Sorry, Evie. Dirty pause. So articulating boundaries and respecting other people's boundaries and appreciating that someone else has the courage to say, hey, I'm not coming, or no, I'm not drinking, or no, I can't do that for you, Lisa. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for saying. I would never want anyone to feel pressured or uncomfortable with me trampling over unspoken boundaries. So tell me.
To see how you can enhance that, because some of the military out in the field have been able to avoid IEDs, explosive devices, improvised explosive devices. And so when they asked them, how did you know not to go this way? I had a feeling. And so even if you can't articulate it, even if you don't understand it, if you feel it, follow it. There is a point where you have to trust in yourself. It's there for a reason. Trust yourself. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Is that a good enough reason? So let's say you've protected so many presidents now. Have you had moments where you've just had a gut feeling? And if so, do you then follow it through? What does that look like?
Well, how that would work is there's a lot of plan and preparation. So the part that you see, the agents walking around, the protectee, the president, whoever it is, that's nothing. The planning and preparation that would go into the proactive element to securing something, going to a place, that is 80% of it. And so by the time you get there, you're pretty solid.
Oh my goodness, they keep changing the camera angle and I can't stop obscuring the ladies' faces when they speak with the closed captions. Margaret, yes, in Colors Flight, Miss Shorty, I like boundaries and societal structure guidelines as they help me manage as they help me manage my anxiety. Absolutely. Gray areas are kind of like, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure. Is this okay or is it not okay? This would be okay with me, but maybe it's not okay for the other person. Sexual boundaries. Lol, in the distant past for me, but and I think it all comes down to people generally, sweeping generalization, but many people not feeling comfortable with difficult conversations, because I guess a boundary could be seen as setting one or asserting one could be seen as a difficult conversation because people aren't used to being honest with each other or themselves.
But you've got a plan A and a plan B and a plan C for when things break bad. And if you see something that doesn't feel right, you notify the other people, hey, this looks off. What do you think? What do you think? And then collectively we make that decision. But again, if you're prepared, and this isn't just in protection and security, I mean, in anything,
oh my goodness,
the more prepared you are, the more you've done your homework, the more you know about your stuff, you walk in not only confident, but super aware. And when things go wrong, you can pivot. If you're not prepared and if you haven't done the work, if you're not proactive, when things go wrong, what do? You lose your mind. You freeze. You don't know what to do. And so there's so much of that element, but we put so much work, so much strategic, so much training, so much emphasis on preparing for securing a place, securing the person, and then the what if.
Okay, I'm going to pause there. Of course I am. We're going to pause a lot. We do. We use this as a sounding board for our discussions. Also, can't get the closed captions to be anywhere other than sometimes in over their faces. Sorry, girls. Akasha says, Joe Schmo, they give no fucks about your boundaries, they being them, and they will make you feel like you are being unfair to them by stating your boundaries. I mean, toxic people at the kinder end or the less extreme end, all the way through to narcissists, don't love boundaries. Energy vampires don't love boundaries. People who are they tend to expect, demand, and require open access, to you, to everything about you. So when you put some gates in there, some boundaries, it's only natural for them. They think that how dare you? That's assault. I should be able to have unlimited access to whichever parts of you, and whether that's a boss who's expecting you to work long hours, or work without accommodations, or work for in addition to what your roles are, whether it's family members who expect you to be at family gatherings. I presume I don't have a family other than you all. People who are used to it. So it's quite hard to begin to tentatively, if you're not someone who's good at asserting and maintaining boundaries, it can be quite a treacherous path, because people are used to you possibly being a little bit of a doormat, or being a bit of a people pleaser, or acquiescing to things that maybe now you've decided, no, I'm not anymore. Like, I'm not. That comment made me feel shitty, or that behavior doesn't sit well with me. It's problematic, but again, the more we talk about it, the more we do it, the more normalized boundary setting and maintaining will become.
None of us had this delusion, oh my God, I put everything in place, it's going to be perfect.
Right.
Despite all the manpower, all the research, we knew that something could go wrong. No, I could never say to anybody, I 100% tell you that this person's going to be safe. I can guarantee it. I can't. But what I can guarantee is all the stuff I'm going to do. And that if something does happen, I'm going to respond quickly, swiftly, thoughtfully, violently, whatever I need to do.
That was amazing. In your business, I assume that you get confronted a lot. I've heard you talk about confrontation. Most people battle it and try to fight it off, but you say welcome it. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yes. So I have a lot of folks who come up to me, what do I do?
I think I've said before, I have one passive aggressive response that I hate about, I don't like about myself, and I'm trying to train myself out of it, but it's my little abandonment inner child speaking. But I think I've got two. It's just occurred to me when Heather said this. So Heather's saying that the thumbs up in real life, Seth doesn't love it. Yep, I'm not even listening to you, dude. That reminded me of my second one. So my first one that I've acknowledged is that side quest. I if I feel a little bit wounded and hurt by someone's if someone isn't there when they said they would be there, or I expect them to be there, say in the live chat or I don't know, somewhere, I'll be like, oh, okay. And that's me going, I really wanted you to be there and you weren't there. And now my feelings are hurt because you weren't there. And then does that mean that you don't love me? Not in a romantic love, but I mean, does that mean I'm not as important to you as I thought I was? The other one that I do, and this is relating to Heather's comment, is that I'll be like, and this is like, I'll do it because I'm being a fuckwit. When someone says something, I'm like something that I'm like, right. I'll be like, right. But I'll put it with extra eyes. So it's a very clear thing. Passive aggressive bitch. I don't think I do many others, but I'm pretty, I claim to only have one. Definitely two. The list may grow.
This person's confronting me. I'm nervous and I don't like to fight. And some people don't like confrontation. But what happens is when we go out of our way to avoid confrontation, it ends up hurting us in the end. We end up stifling our voices. We end up suffering. We end up dealing with people and things and situations where we don't speak. And it's so much worse for us, not just mentally, physically, health-wise. It just demolishes you. And so embracing confrontation is a mindset that I took on, that it's like you can disagree with someone and it doesn't have to be a full brawl.
Right.
You can articulate to somebody, say, I hear you. I disagree with you with this. And this is why. Here's my perception of that.
Going to call back to that. She blocked me on Twitter because I disagreed. I dared to disagree that, again, Lori Vallow Daybell's highlights in her hair look to me to be very recent, within the last couple of weeks at most. And she was like, no, she got them done in Idaho. They're months old. And I'm like, I mean, they look to me like they're fresh. I wasn't being rude. I'm very rarely rude to people. I very rarely am. Very rarely. But she didn't like it and she blocked me. So
there's a way to disagree with someone. And if they escalate, let them escalate. If they scream, let them scream. You sit in your chair, you stay calm and collected, you remain professional, you let them become the fool. You don't have to mimic that. Sometimes going back to what I used to do in the interview room, I would have people, they did not want to talk to me. They hated me simply because of what I represented. I represented law enforcement. And so from that moment, I'd walk into a room and people would be rude to me, scream at me, yell at me, call me names. What do? Do I reciprocate or do I sit back and I wait? I let them vent. And you know what? 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, they're done. They're tired. They got out of their system. And now we can have a conversation.
I love that so much.
Don't be afraid of it. So what?
Boom. Don't be afraid of it. Strongly agree. Difficult conversations are uncomfortable. They are. Setting boundaries can be terrifying, and hearing boundaries put in place for some people can be distressing. Maybe because they're a dickhead and they liked the access to you that you used to give them on that point, or on broader, more bigger picture stuff. But they're important. Difficult conversations are important. If you're okay with being authentic and truthful and kind about it, they don't need to be a fuckwit. I really think it comes down to people being uncomfortable with the truth and those difficult conversations. I'm going to die on that hill with 2 vapes in my hand.
What? Somebody yells at you and somebody confronts you, and embrace it. Look at it like, all right, what's up? Let's go. And I have to give my husband kudos for this, because anytime the situation and there's something, I'm like, hey, this could get confrontational. He's like, yeah. He's like, I love it. Because he looks at it almost like a puzzle, like a master. He's like, how are we?
I think we decided as a group, Heather, yes, they do. There's some, we did a whole thing last night in my chat with Joe Schmo and Salty Sleuth Investigates about Lori Daybell, what's going on with Lori. We had to go to the hair question because obviously she does have a lot more problems than just whether she's got highlights in her hair, but Some prisons have hairdressers, hi Diane, who come in and do stuff for the inmates, hair stuff, beauty stuff. Others have different things where from on their commissary. Laurie used to be a hairstylist, but we did decide, I think Shelley Pokemon, excuse me, worked out that what's it called? I don't have that product in Australia. Efendrin, FXer, some sort of bleachy product and shampoo, and Laurie's hairstyling abilities probably did get them fresh their highlights. Anyway, we digress.
How are we going to move this person? How are we going to maneuver them from here to here? And look at it as a challenge. Don't look at it as a negative thing. And you're going to have people confront you, but at the same time, you should be able to confront people about
Agreed,
things
Laura.
that you don't feel right about in your life. Don't sit there and swallow it.
Where I want to
pause. Probably should have said this earlier. 46 minutes in, but replay crew, hi, thanks for being here. If you would like to watch the live chat replay on your handheld device, I do try to put, thanks Shelley, I do try to put all the comments up on screen, but I don't get all of them. But if you would like to watch the live chat replay, all you need to do is, thank you, Princey, swipe left on the comment tab instead of tapping it, and it will give you the option for live chat replay instead. It is heartbreaking. Akasha says, you may be heartbroken to lose some of those people, but I guarantee you they are not heartbroken about you being absent in their life. Agree. Excuse me. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. This is the next little bit. How to handle disrespect.
to start is with a quote that you said. My default response is to tell people to go fuck themselves. I thought you are absolutely the perfect person to help us talk about what we do when we feel like in moments we're being disrespected.
I'm going to poll the chat. We did actually cover this section in our part 1 of setting boundaries to take your power back. This is one of the clips. This is a clip from that full-length interview. Would you like to watch this, or shall I skip through to the next bit because we've already covered this? Let me know. Let me know. Joe Schmo says, can I schedule an appointment with Laurie for a men's cut with frosted tips? Asking for a friend. Yikes, Joe. Careful. She'll pull you into her portal. I'm waiting for this. Effexor. Well, that's not that. Ephedrin. Wait, this. But I got it. I knew it started with F. F. Shelley got it there for me up here. Evident, that F, evident shampoo. Okay, I'm going to skip forward because chat hasn't voted because you're chatting. Chat be chatting. But if you would like to watch this particular section, it's in part 1 somewhere. Oh, this looks like it's been most replayed. Well, watch this bit. Play.
But I think you will have people test the waters with you.
I love the quote, you teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
So it's literally the more you let things go, the more they're like, oh, I can do this, and they're not going to retaliate. Tell me Evie's version then of levels of disrespect and how you actually
Thank you, Simi. Skipped.
Stage.
Yeah. So you know what? Let me share this. This is what happens to us. There's some science, some research they've done in the chemistry of the brain. And it comes to trust. And this is where we feel usually disrespected. And this is on a higher level. This is where it hits us deeper. So when you trust, there's 2 types of trust. There's conditional trust and unconditional trust. Now, conditional trust is, I'm going to do a business deal. I'm going to buy a car from a salesman. So when you deal with conditional trust, you access a higher level of your brain. And when you access this complicated place of your brain, you are trusting conditionally, which means you're working very hard. You understand this person will manipulate you. You understand that you can only trust them conditionally. And you do expect some type of maybe betrayal or lies or something to happen. But you work very, very hard when you're in that space. So when that person betrays you, like that you bought a car and the car salesman, screws you over, you're like, you know what? I didn't like that guy. I knew he was going to do that. I kind of felt.
Hi, it's me. I'm back. I got cheese. But also, Princey says, colors, you can't do highlights from box dye, but you can use the box dye if you're a hairstylist to create the foils, the highlights, and just bleach that bit. So yes, you can. You can't if you just whack it all over your hair, though. Correct.
Felt it. You're upset, but it's not like this deep thing. That's conditional trust. That's a lot of work, though. Now, unconditional trust, the science shows that accesses a different part of our brain, a more primitive part of our brain. And this is where we like to live because it's less work. So this is like the trust you have with your partner. This is the trust you have with a family member or a close friend, which means I'm not working so hard because I'm giving you all this unconditional trust. But then what happens is when they betray you, because you don't expect to get betrayed like you did with the car salesman or in a business negotiation. So when you get this kind of betrayal, this is when it crushes you. And this is where you have such a hard time getting over it. This is where you see people going through a divorce or a painful friendship.
I think that's a stipulation, Joe. Joe says, oh, so I will trust you as long as you don't betray my trust. Is that conditional trust? I think that's just a reciprocal agreement, right? Trust is a two-way street. Trusting somebody is a slippery slope, isn't it? I think that we've listened to this bit before. I'm going to skip through to the next part per Simi's suggestion. And if you want to watch this again, you can. Oh, I like her hair. Walk and talk chat. Walk and talk. Oh, God damn it. No timestamps, Lisa. Even we have timestamps at Camp Shorty. Okay.
Yeah, those words, I knew, I'm like, she's done. This relationship's done.
So I do the opposite. I'm like, oh, come in, have a cup of tea. What are you trying to tell me? And in that has allowed me to go, oh, it's not that you're worried that you're a woman compared to a man. It's that you're not prepared. You're not listening. So I know less. Great. Learn more. Oh, I'm not prepared for this meeting. Great. Be prepared. And that's been the biggest freaking flip. I really do think that confidence isn't just, it's not like genetics. It's not like you have it or you don't. I really do think it's like a skill that you cultivate. And people think of confidence as being the end goal. But really I think you build it by gaining competence. And in order to gain competence, you have to start somewhere. And that means you start when you're not competent.
You are right about some people may be born with it, but most of the time it's cultivated. Confidence is habit. Are the habits that you have on a day-to-day basis, do they make you confident or do they demolish you? So language, which is...
While I knew that I was muted, I didn't do that in the best order. So I'm going to play this anyway because...
Miss Shorty, you're muted. Miss Shorty, you're muted.
Akasha says, there are people who trust me that I have no trust for whatsoever. Yes, fair. Are they your underlings at work? I guess that's a credit to you that you are a trustworthy person. Same. Perhaps you've continued to prove yourself by consistently being trustworthy, whereas those folk have not. Mutual trust is a two-way street. Princey says that trust sucks when you can't trust a parent. Agreed. Should be able to trust your parents. Or you were born with confidence and it was taken from you a tiny bit at a time. Yes. Agreed.
Which is what you initially opened up with, how we speak to ourselves, how we think of ourselves. So that's kind of like the foundation. If you don't have a healthy dialogue with yourself, then it doesn't matter what other people do to you. You're diminishing yourself. So I really think about the way I speak to myself. I won't call myself lazy if I feel unmotivated, because there's nothing lazy about me. I won't say, Abby, you're so stupid. If I make a mistake, I'm going to make mistakes.
Didn't we already watch this?
I will not speak that.
We 100% watched this. Fuck's sake. Maybe we didn't watch the whole interview. Now I don't know. Wait, I'm going to wait. Pause, chat. Because I watched a whole bunch of Lisa and Evie, right? I watched basically all their interviews, just personally for my own enjoyment, interest. I'm going to my own channel. Just talk amongst yourselves. We're professionals here. I'm going to go, I'm doing this, because suddenly I'm like, we've won a quadrillion% watch this part, and maybe I'm not as professional as I'd hoped. Maybe the trust that I'm trying to gain from you all, I'm breaking here. You can't see this. Oh, hang on. Steph, you've watched this. You should know. No, wait. Okay, so we haven't watched this, and we haven't watched the other one. We watched a whole different one. Wait. Now I'm confused. I'm looking at myself. You can't see what I'm doing, but I can. Okay. We're good. Carry on. As you were, chat, we're good.
Speak that way to myself, because when you speak that way to yourself, at least for me, I push myself down. So nobody else needs to do anything to crush me. I just crush myself. Think about the daily habits that I use from day to day, moment to moment, that help build and shape and mold my confidence. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think language, internal dialogue, is one of the most important things. You know, not calling yourself an idiot because you misplaced the keys. Little things like that.
I used to, and it was very detrimental to my self-esteem. Very detrimental. Lisa, you're so fucking dumb. Like, and it would really tear me down. And now, going back to the negative voice, I'm like, it just used to tear me down and I can't switch it off. So how do I on earth get confidence in something when I don't have like even the confidence to do one little thing or even speak nicely to myself? So I had to flip it and go, okay, if I don't know something, instead of tearing myself down, be like, okay, you don't know this, but now I can learn. Instead of saying, hey, Lisa, you're so dumb, you don't understand this.
Do you?
It was so long ago too. Wait, pause. We're going to do an inception. Timestamped. Yes. Steph, did you do this one? Yes. So that was this. Wait, this is the outfit she was wearing before. So I think I skipped through that last bit rudely and incorrectly with the hair in the ponytail. It's all the white outfits are the same, but she's wearing the same outfit throughout. Can you see this? Yes. And if you're not sure, me included, just feel free to go back and watch this episode. It's timestamped. Here, I should just go before we wait. I'll show you the rest of the timestamps. So clever. What's this? Look at all those timestamps. Look at all those timestamps. Look at that. How cool are we? We. Steph, Princey, Shelley. Thank you. Okay, back to it. I'm so professional. I know you're jealous, right? Oh, and now I'm so confused. Am I on the right screen? Which screen are we at? I don't even know anymore. Ah!
Do you do that still?
I used to. No, I don't anymore. But that was definitely what I used to say. You're dumb. You just don't get it. I removed the word dumb because that does not serve me. Again, going to what language serves you, you should use it. What language doesn't serve you, you shouldn't use it. So that doesn't serve me on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, I say I'm a fucking professional and it's somewhat facetious, but I also believe it. I managed to carry myself quite well through all the shameful stumbling, fumbling, skips and slides and mutes and stuff. So we're good.
And so what I say in those situations is you don't get this, but you can learn. And just by giving myself the grace of saying, hey, you don't get it, but you can learn, allows me to go, oh, well, then how do I learn? I have to ask. And then it flips it from, oh, I'm getting more powerful now. I can get even better. And that framing now doesn't stop me. It encourages me to keep putting my hand up. I don't get it. Don't understand. Sorry, don't get it. Like, it really does allow me to just push forward in the most positive sense instead of being held back.
Where do you think that negative language came from? Like, you gave me the examples. You said, I used to talk to myself this way. How does that happen?
Oh God, there's many things, but I think for me, it was, I grew up in a family where my older brother and sister were very good academically. So we would sit around a table, Greek family, we would sit around a table and my dad would like throw out math quizzes. Now, I'm the artist in the family. So you can imagine I get thrown a math question. My brother and sister can go bam, 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 bam. And I hesitate. So just that alone puts me just growing up every day feeling less than. Then going to school, I completely excelled at art and totally struggled at academics, math, English, like completely struggled. So it built up a self-esteem issue. And then, you know, I think like anything is you get told it enough, you start to believe it, then you believe it. It doesn't matter what happens to you. Even if you start excelling after that, it becomes a part of you. And so I just realized I just have to unwind it. Like instead of beating myself up that it exists because I can't change my past.
God damn it, Cheese.
The 30-year-old Lisa knows better.
I shouldn't have got so anticipatory about it.
But it's a habit. You even said, right, at the beginning, it's a habit. So,
Miss Shorty, you're muted. Miss Shorty, you're muted.
I've got a bad habit, and now I just need to change it. I need to give myself the grace to acknowledge it.
Wait, let me look what's on the screen. Akasha said, there is no one that I watch on live that does not have the same issues, Miss Shorty. Hi, it's me.
Miss Shorty, you're muted. Miss Shorty, you're muted.
Pick a song. All I was saying was pick a song. We'll play a song break in a minute. My brain. And everyone, I also said it was hilarious. I said it cute. I'm sure I said everything really well and articulately and stuff. Science and physics and stuff. Everyone's going to say Shine or Opalescence. They're great songs. We have other songs. I'm happy to play whatever. Think about it. Fuck.
Knowledge exists, and now work on every day unwiring it, changing that habit. And that habit came from every time I go to call myself done, call myself the student. Every time I go to say, Lisa, you don't have the fucking confidence, say yet, right? So I don't have the confidence.
That is
yet,
Joe Schmo.
But I'm going to do it anyway. So reframing, re-saying these phrases.
He is very profesh. That's our Joe Schmo. He's in chat right now. He, no shit, I muted myself talking to him. I wasn't even eating cheese.
I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad.
Wrong one. Fuck.
Miss Shorty, you're muted. Miss Shorty, you're muted.
That's Joe.
I don't have the confidence yet. Like literally, I'll just keep repeating it. Every time I get scared, repeat it until you act.
You know, it's interesting. I won't do the yet thing.
I don't think
because I don't want to find myself in the future. I want to find myself now. When I hear that, I think, no, I need her now. And I don't know, like if maybe when I do my mentor session, sometimes people will say to me, I want to be confident. I want to be this. And I'll tell them, how about you just are that now? And I'll make them write up kind of a paperwork and I'll ask them, what have you done? I'll ask them about the strengths and all that. And I'll read it.
Pause. I can play one smooth slider, but it won't sound great because it'll be through the YouTube channel. None of my new songs since the most recent one is the new guest song. Before that, like Sirens, Slay, Shine. They're the most new ones on here. I don't know how to compress or turn my clips into small enough videos that will fit on the StreamYard. Joey has been doing that, but Joey's taking a break. So here we are. That's our finite list of songs that are on the channel until I can work out how to do that.
And I'll say, I mean, you're already confident. Do you not see this? Did you read like all the things you've done? Did you read all the things you've experienced? The trauma, the things you've overcome in life? I kind of think you're already her. And so maybe
is that really true though?
Yes, I think so. Because because I think we have moments where we're here, then we go here, and then we're here, and then we go here. So I think you're there, but you choose not to maybe tap into that. I have my moments where maybe I'll lack confidence in something because I don't know it, I don't understand it, but I have developed that mindset of I deserve to be here, wherever here is. Like, and maybe this is where I'll bring in negative language. I've kind of been like, well, that bozo can do it.
Bozo, love it.
It's so fascinating because you're right. We take different framing of how we're thinking about it in an effort to improve ourselves in the now. Because for me, it is very empowering to be like, you could be Lisa, you could be anything you fucking want to be, even if you're not that
grass is green enough. Good to see you.
Be it. Like, I get so excited about the dream of just set your mind to it. What do I want to be? And how the hell do I get there? Like, that's so exciting to me. But I actually understand that how you frame it.
Agree, Akasha. Akasha says, I do wish future me could go back and tell past me that we're going to be badass bitches, because we are already badass bitches. Working on it. How to win friends and influence people with Camp Shorty. Sometimes it goes a bit haywire.
It still is empowering, right? It's like, you're that person. Come on, you're that person. Like, I get the...
I think when you have people write down, I have people write down what they've accomplished, what they've done, even if it's a negative trauma or experience, I'll have them write it out, and then I'll lift it up. I'm like, how does somebody who's overcome this not have confidence?
It really does tie into what I was saying about competence, that you need the competence by showing someone, hey, you don't think of yourself necessarily right now as confident, but look at these things. And by focusing and highlighting these things, it shows that they've actually built the competence. They just don't realize it.
Look, 50% is what the world does to you, but 50% is you. This you can manage. And so if you want to be those things and you want to change those things, then it's something you can do. When you manage your confidence and belief in who you are and why you are there and why you are doing something, and you drown out the noise, because a lot of times it is noise.
I'm going to pause and say there, you know what? Shanwan. Thanks, gorgeous. Yes. I'm trying to remember what Britt told me, that when I press play on songs or sound bites, I have to stop and smile, or just stop, because I sometimes cut off the end of my sentence. So I'm not going to do that this time, other than muting myself. Welcome, new shorties. Thank you so much, Sandwan. You're going in the draw for next week again. All right. Have we thought of a song? I can play One Smooth Slide. It's just it'll be a bit tinny. That's all. I can play any of them.
You will focus kind of like on your goal. What's my mission? What's my goal? What's my end result? But if you waste your time listening to the negative language of other people and then letting it live inside of you, then it becomes part of you. And I think if you can recognize this is part of me, how do I maybe either sit down and have coffee with it, or, you know, for someone like me, it's like, just shut the door.
Either way.
Nobody's home. You know, in talking about confidence, I guess if I had to say there's one thing that I specifically do that helps me, it really would be to over-prepare. Preparation has been, I guess you could say, my secret weapon to helping me. So when I look back at all the different things I've done, so like, for example, when I was in the Secret Service, I actually was not very good with the academic stuff. I've never actually been good with academics. I really had to put time and work on it. But then when you go through training, they teach you legal jargon, things that I'd never done law. I didn't know this world.
Princey's still thinking about it.
My first exam, actually, I failed it. My first legal exam in the service, I remember failing it and thinking, I can't blow this. And I realized that I had to put in more than everybody else. The way I could learn, I would write everything. So I would hand write the text.
Let's leave that till a little bit later, because it's more of a calm, soothing one. Wait, I make my life so much harder than it needs to be on the regular, day in, day out. I think a lot of us like this one that I'm going to play. Hang on, wait. We'll come back to them. This, that, and the other. Oh my goodness, my brain's like buffering. I'm in the buffer zone, the brain buffer zone. What did I think? I thought of something, and then this.
Do not understand what this was all for. Ravage me, why? To settle a score that was never necessary. my whole life is distorted. All that matters to you is that your lies are perpetuated. Like I'm supposed to just let this go when y'all fucked me over, yeah, no, hell no. Do not understand what this was all for. Ravish me wide, settle a score that was never necessary. Putting some distance between you and me. Asserted simple boundaries, decided instead you would come for me. Get the fuck out of here, not happy till it continues, leave me be. Do not understand what this was all for. Ravish me wide, settle a score that was never necessary. Putting some distance between you and me. Pieces of shit, how fucking dare you? Collectively, you had a big time goal to take me down, everything that I'd worked for. It ain't that simple, no settling scores. Trigger, you make me sick, really? Don't suck my dick, take it or fucking leave it. Trust me, I ain't got no quit. Do not understand what this was all for. Ravish me wide, settle a score that was never ever necessary. Putting big distance between you and me. Gone down, we're done here. Dumpster fire, go away.
The end of that is so fun. I love it. Yes, it turned out to be the perfect song choice. And love, 10-10. Probably inappropriate. What? Never. We're never inappropriate here. Hang on. Let's go back. I will play one smooth slide, Quincy. We'll just have to cope with it being a little tinny. Shall we? Not now. We'll do it next. It's a beautiful song. Oh, share screen. Fuck. At least there's only 1, 2. Oh. Carry on, ladies. Emma, can you see it? Yes. Fantastic. Love that for us.
Textbook as a way to learn.
Now back
really
to calm. Oh, that was me. Put my earbud away.
Share it with a lot of people because people thought it was nuts, an extreme. But when I would have these opportunities, I didn't want to lose them. One of the things that calmed me to this day is over preparing. So when I'm over prepared, it's one less thing I have to worry about, right? I know what I'm going to say, or I'm prepared in that I have knowledge or that I've studied. So when I'm over prepared, now I can actually focus on other things. It actually elevates my confidence in that I understand what I'm going to speak about. I'm going to understand what I'm going to be tested on. It's not an easy thing because you'll look at other people and say, well, that person doesn't have to put in all that time. Why do I? We're all quite different. But for me, over preparing has definitely helped me to boost my confidence. Even after I left the Secret Service and I began working in television, I didn't understand journalism. I didn't understand TV. And I didn't like feeling like that. I would feel I lacked confidence.
Go, Shelley.
Because I didn't understand it. So I went and I applied to Columbia University Journalism Schools, one of the hardest schools to get into as an adult. I left the U.S. Secret Service and I applied to go back to school, to college as an adult. And I got in.
Woo!
And then I studied journalism and I got my master's degree there. Because I needed to feel
gorgeous woman.
Like I understood what I was doing. And I over prepared.
So you literally were like, okay, I'm going from this to this. I want to be in journalism now. I actually don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I have zero confidence because I don't have the competence yet. And so you went and that was your solution of like, get studying really hard so that I go into it with confidence.
Yes, actually, you just said it. Competence equals confidence.
Yeah. When we talk about pressure, when we talk about self-esteem and sticking up for yourself, like all these subjects, I honestly think you're the freaking expert because you've got actual training. And so it's so powerful. But then once you bring emotion in it, right, it becomes slightly different. So,
but I also mess up. I've messed up.
Right, which I think is amazing.
That's the thing. Like I don't know how many times I've messed up. And so, but it's when I've messed up that I'm like, man, I shouldn't have done that. Man, I shouldn't have said that. But this is the difference. I choose to learn from it. And I choose to make it a lesson. Whereas other people are like, yeah. And then you wonder why you're messing up all over the place. Like I look at things and I assess things and I'm truly honest with myself. Like every night I say to myself one thing, what could I have done better today? What could I have done differently today? Because I take accountability, and when I take accountability, man, I flow. But when I don't, I hit walls. I understand that I don't know everything.
And is that because you know yourself so well? Because what I love is, and I think this is why we get along so well, we think very similarly. Like I'm the same. It's like, what can I do better? Because it empowers me to do better. But I know a world where a lot of people, even asking that same question at the end of the day, a lot of people in this space that I've also interviewed have said, I always say, like, it's okay, Lisa. Like, what did you do great today? And it's self-soothing. And I actually understand that part of it. But I'm like you as well. I also have the other side that at the end of the day, I'm like, what could you have done better? How do you use that to empower yourself and not to shame yourself for doing things wrong?
No, I don't shame myself.
So then, tell me, how does that not feel shame?
But you can be both. You can be like, what could I have done better? And it's like, okay, I could have done this better. I messed up. And I will say to myself, that's okay. So what?
So what? Exactly.
You can be both. You can hold yourself accountable, be like, I messed up. Who hasn't? Who hasn't?
On the regular, like 45, 69 times is
all
a
right,
live
you
stream.
messed up. Move on.
Yeah.
And there needs to be no shame.
Yeah.
Because it's so important the way you talk to yourself and treat yourself and speak to yourself. Like I wouldn't tolerate somebody else being like, shame on you. So why would I shame myself? I understand and take accountability. I messed up. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have said this. If I need to apologize to someone, I will. It's very rare now. But I will own it. I will own it. Like if you're going to a relationship, like if I argue with my significant other, or even with my mom, I go back and I'm like, you know what? In that moment, I'll be like, I was right. And then 5 hours later, I'm like, no, I didn't need to do that. I'll go and I'll say, I'm very sorry. So I really think apologizing is good. But then you also don't want to get into this mindset where you're constantly apologizing for how you feel and who you are. Apologize when you need to. But that mindset and that language also pulls you back into this subordinate place. Apologies are important when you need to apologize. But when you don't, like if I argue with my significant other, I'll be like, I'm not apologizing for this one. Not because I'm right, but because it's not, the situation isn't right. And I want to address this with you. I will hold it.
God, I love that. And I want to actually talk about verbal currency is what you call it, I think.
Verbal economics.
Verbal economics. Because I'm so with you. So even with my husband as well, we literally have this language where he will say, or I will say to him, I'm sorry I've hurt you, but I'm not sorry about what I said. Like what I said, I actually still mean. And if I apologize for what I said, then it seems like I don't actually mean it. Now, I'm sorry I hurt you. And I'm sorry that, like, what words can I maybe change that didn't hurt you? But my point is still the same. And if I feel strongly in the point, I don't want to apologize for it because then it seems like I'm kind of backtracking out of emotion, right? Because like, oh, I've hurt him, so I'm sorry. And I actually don't think that solves any issue.
No, but I think what you're doing is right. But you also have to acknowledge that you did something, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not, it upset him. So it's not like, well, I didn't mean it that way. Well, it doesn't matter how you meant it. This is how I took it. But sometimes I will apologize because I'll be like, I'm sorry we fought, or I'm sorry for what I said, or I'm sorry for my behavior. Because I am hot-headed. And, you know, usually it's to the people closest to us that we'll keep our composure out in public typically, or with work, and we lose it at home. And that's no good either.
Everyone except for a car.
Because that's how you lose people. That's how you hurt people. Like you're not meant to come home and dump on people. And that's something to be very careful of. So I came from a very high stress environment. And even after I left the service, working in television in the industry, like there's so much stress. I had to be very mindful of that, to take that out on the people I go home to. They're not there to be your dumping ground, because at some point, like, you're going to affect them, and then you're going to end up like, where is everyone? Everyone left you because you're dumping all your stuff on them. Like, they have a day, they're going through everyone's going through something. And so self-assessment is such a huge thing. And I go by, like, I'm not always right. Humility is a big thing. Like, people need to have that. I don't know where that's gone. Everyone knows everything. Everybody's super self-righteous. Like, have some humility. You don't know anything. None of us.
Ironic that she says that just about 5 sentences after she said, I'm not often wrong these days. I don't often have to apologize. I get you. I think what Evie's talking about here, if you're behaving poorly towards your loved ones and taking out your frustrations in the home arena, then that's not okay. But also, when we're going back to the boundaries thing, that's a different kettle of fish, right? In my opinion. Excuse me. When people don't like boundaries being asserted and maintained, and then they play that victim or that hurt, why can't I do X, Y, and Z, or say X, Y, and Z? That's different. So setting boundaries is different to behaving poorly. And so perhaps people will remove themselves from you emotionally if you're treating them like a dumping ground. People sometimes will remove themselves from you emotionally when you set boundaries. So it's important to know that setting boundaries and maintaining them, asserting them and maintaining them, so long as you're doing it in a kind, fair, clear way, reasonable boundaries. If people are then spitting the dummy, what that you guys would say the pacifier, but it's probably not a saying you say it in the States, that's a them problem, right? It's a you problem if you're being an asshole to your loved ones because you're overwhelmed or stressed or perhaps not articulating your boundaries in your life, whether it's bigger picture work life or in your home or within your friends group or whatever it is with your partner. So have those difficult conversations, and then hopefully there can be some meeting in the middle, and there won't be that poor behavior. But if you're setting those boundaries and people are resisting them or walking away because you've set clear boundaries, like miss me.
None of us do. Oh, what is Socrates? It was Socrates, I believe, said this. He said, "I know I'm smarter than you because I know I don't know everything." And that's how I feel. And so when I feel people going, like that self-righteousness or that, like, I know everything, like, tune out. I'm like, okay, I do the head nod. I'm like, so great talking to you.
Hi,
I'm going to go
girl.
do business elsewhere. I'm going to
yes.
hang out elsewhere. And I'm really
this
like
is another one of your conversations, I'm sure.
I keep because I want to grow as a human.
Kraken, we're watching. I'm struggling with the closed caption positioning for starters because they keep changing their camera angles. It's a Lisa problem. But this is Evie Pompouris, who is a former retired Secret Service agent, complete badass, gorgeous looking to boot, articulate, smart, love, 10-10. Talking to Lisa Bilyeu, and we're just sort of shooting the shit about our experiences with setting boundaries, how we can best feel okay with that. And Kraken, I feel like you would be a badass for setting boundaries and maintaining them.
Human being. And if I keep negativity and people who don't control themselves well, and that's another thing as far as pressure, be around people who handle pressure well so you can learn from them. I watch other people. Do you know, working in the White House, that was a huge, like, it was going to like school every day, because I would watch the presidents, the first ladies deal with serious pressures, and I'd watch how they handle themselves, and I'm like, note to self.
Yeah.
They would deal with horrible messages or emails or hate or all these different things. And they would wake up, and the president of the United States, he still has to go to work. He still has to run the country. He can't just sit there and fall apart.
Channel. No,
you have to keep yourself composed. But at the same time, they surround themselves by what? Other people who help keep them strong.
So
you have a cabinet. And so I look at myself as like, I'm not the president, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm me. Who's my cabinet? Who are my cabinet members? And who do I go to when I need help? So if I'm about to like do something or say something, I may call you, Lisa, and be like, Lisa, man, I just had this business thing. I know this is your space. I'm like, I'm about to lose my shit. Can I talk to you? So I'll do it with you.
Pause. Akasha, that's a really interesting point. And I've got so many lives scheduled. I cannot do this peasant work shit anymore. I have things to talk about to a handful of you very amazing shorties. But excuse me. I'm going to cough again. Vapes are good for you. Right. What was I going to say? I think it's Orion Kelly in one of the autistic neurodivergent live streams we have coming up, where he talks about the exact same thing. Oh God, do not ask if you do not really want to know. I'm giving you grace by not telling you what is wrong. Walk away. Also, if someone asks your opinion on something, and this is where we get back to that being truthful with ourselves and with others, don't ask me if you don't want to know. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like always, I'll do it kindly. I'm not going to be an asshole about it. I'll try not to be, but people don't like to hear the truth and they think you're being an asshole. Eesh.
So I don't do it elsewhere, but I'm mindful of where I project that. Now I'm mindful not to dump on you, but I'll go to you because I feel like you know the space. Teach me. So I think that there's so many different outlets. It's like assessing yourself, surround yourself with strong people. If you're around people who like lose their shit, guess what you're going to do? Lose your shit, and don't mimic other people. When they escalate, don't follow the lead. Don't follow.
I get trapped in that all the time.
It's very hard.
Do. I've noticed
same, Lisa, same. How hard is it to not respond? I've had to have a couple of difficult conversations recently with a close friend, and it turned out that those conversations didn't happen because the other person wasn't prepared or able or have the capacity to have those conversations. But I had to really psych myself up, and I was saying to myself, this can't escalate to, like, I'm going to have to keep my cool on this. I'm not sure how I would have gone. I would have really liked to have those conversations, actual conversations, not a couple of voice notes back and forward, or voice notes forward and text replies back. It would have been a really interesting exercise for me to see whether I could maintain my level of cool and calm and prudence in terms of my emotional reaction to where the conversation was going to go, in light of what I'm quite confident would have been a heated discussion. I'm kind of disappointed. I wasn't looking forward to those conversations, but I was looking forward to seeing whether I would be able to maintain my composure. So that me, says Kraken, somebody asked my opinion. My response is, do you want me to make you smile and shake my head nicely, or do you want the truth? Sometimes the friend will say, just smile, and others will say, today I need the truth. That's a really healthy communication style. Really, really, really. Are you baiting me, Shelley? Chameleons have an extra hard time not mirroring. Yeah, right. And particularly when the conversation is about bound to be or is heading in the way of elevated emotional reactionary stuff, it's very hard. Colors says, I will, in a regular voice, ask my husband why he got 2 gallons of milk, and he will scream, why are you yelling at me? Fuck! And slams the door. Yeah. Your husband's hard work, Colors. And you're like, I wasn't yelling. The problem for me is that I do, my voice volume does level up when I'm impassioned, but it's not yelling. Yelling is a whole different thing. Akasha says, but when all of the people do not want to tell someone a hard thing, they come to you and expect you to be the one to confront said person. Well, because you're a badass, girl. You've earned that. Lucky you. Lucky you. Best peace of mind too. Ask for 24 hours to reply. That's an interesting one too. Yeah, I've been in that same communication dynamic that I just referred to. Did the same thing. Stepped back for a couple of days to stop with the escalation of emotive responses, and came back for those conversations that were agreed needed to be had, and unfortunately didn't happen. Anyway.
Is that about me? I keep calm, but then like after a certain moment, like if someone keeps escalating, I keep calm. At least you're doing good, people escalate,
the word choice,
it's okay, you're doing it,
choice.
And then they just keep
Chameleon.
escalating. At some point I freaking just
but when you escalate, what do? Do you yell? What do you do?
Yeah, my tone gets louder, my voice gets louder, I get harsher.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like I've been in spaces like that. When I feel that, I really remove myself. I go quiet. So you said something earlier, like I go silent. When I can't keep composure, I go silent. If I disappear from someone's life.
One, hi, it's me. I am one. Feigned incompetence or willful ignorance has been quite an issue in my world, not for me. It's been a struggle. Agreed. I would love to. I can speak to that directly, having to interact with a person who was dropping the ball on some things, and some pretty important things, and it makes it hard because it's yes, agreed, Kraken. I'm gonna zip.
I'm done, or I've gone silent. Like I'll remove myself, or even the situation, and I'll come back. But if I can keep composure, like I will assert myself. Like you have authority, assert it. And authority doesn't mean being a jerk.
Oh, Chatties Bay, we have some great conversations here. Laura says, my mum called me the diplomat. I learned to be honest and the kindest way possible, except when I really think home truths are needed for the delusional. Ha, ha, ha. I think Steph can attest. She's not been on the receiving end because no need, but witnessed some of my home truths delivered firmly, directly, and matter-of-factly, without any meanness, although I'm sure they were interpreted as being mean and out of line. I'm just going to say it, man. I'm just going to say it. Sorry, home truths. Boom. Delivered.
Jerk. Authority doesn't mean being condescending. And in fact, authority is a strong influence tactic. When you are perceived as an authority in something, people will acquiesce to you more. This is why we acquiesce so much to doctors, because we see them as authority. Law enforcement, because they've got a
Oh, Joe. Oh, Joe, I don't think Shelley is a masturbator. She's not. She's a chameleon, right?
uniform on. Financial advisors, so many people acquiesce to them because we see them as an authority. Meanwhile, like they could have graduated at last in their class. And so, well, when you assert yourself as an authority in body posture, in voice, in speech,
Kraken, boom,
and how you present yourself,
thank you.
People are less.
I'm sorry, I feel so validated right now. I didn't need to. I already knew, but exactly, Kraken, you're speaking my language. When I have stress over you not doing what you've committed to, you go bye-bye. Yep. No added stresses, communication, or get the fuck out of here. And no excuses. This is we're done here. Like we're done here. 100%, Kraken, 100%.
Less likely to mess with you. So from the onset, like I had to learn this a lot in the interview room when I would interview people who were criminals, who would see me and be like, oh man, this is going to be an easy day. Because I worried about that initially. But I controlled that from the moment I met that person. From the moment I met them, from the moment.
Break it down. What do you mean by that?
Hi, how are you? I'm Evie Pompuris. Nice to meet you. And if I wanted to throw in special agent, I freaking would.
Yep.
Hi, I'm special agent Pompuris.
Girl, we're getting
nice
close now.
Come with me. Now, granted, this was an interview environment, but I set the tone. Now this person understands that she's an authority here. I established myself as an authority.
Same. sorry, I don't want to relate it to me, but I relate very heavily to Evie. Perhaps not on the beauty, the glamour, the figure, the career path, but the vibe, 100%. Kraken, yes, not long now. It's only 3 months until I turn 50, and Kraken also. We're like a couple of days apart in our birthday. Yikes! Can't wait. I'm going to take the day off. Sidebar, side quest. My birthday's on a Friday here in Australia, which will be Thursday night your time. So I'm going to take the day off, and we're going to do a 50th birthday bash live stream. That's as much birthdaying as we're going to be birthdaying, and it's going to be fucking excellent. But yes, all this stuff takes practice, and I make no apologies for being assertive, particularly about and setting boundaries particularly about things that are really important, like really important to me and in general. It's been quite a few weeks,
and that's really, really important. So
important.
I won't be
She said
passive.
it too.
Passive is no go because that builds up and then you blow up on people. But if I'm also dealing with someone who's like, I'm sorry, a buffoon, I'm done dealing with you. I will minimize my detailing, my dealing with you. I'll deal with you via email if I have to. I'll pull back. I'll have my manager deal with you. I'm like, hey, I don't want to talk to this guy. This guy's a bozo. I know I got to work with him. Can you handle him?
Talk to me about that, because I'm such a advocate for, like, words matter. The words you use for yourself and the words you use to others can signify either with yourself that you're inferior or superior, and then to others whether you feel, because like you said, right, authority. So the language that you use in order to express the authority, I assume, is extremely important. What are the things that you feel make all the difference in that situation?
So verbal economics is actually didn't come from me. It came from one of my former colleagues, Lee, who's a great interviewer and negotiator. And he said, we talked about language, and he said he turned the coin, because we were talked about how important it is, the words we use, because we would be very mindful of the words we use when we would talk to people, because certain words can put people off and make them shut down. And
I'll watch that myself and get some timestamps, Kraken, because it's a 3-hour episode. God knows we'd be going for 6 hours with all my pauses.
In other words, can invite them in and make you appear more open, and they communicate with you more. So he would call it verbal economics, meaning we live in a time where we think I have to say everything I'm thinking. Like, I was mentoring this woman once. She's like, I talk really fast because I'm trying to get everything I'm thinking out of my mouth. And I'm like,
Yikes.
Why?
Okay. Yeah, wow.
Choose what you let out. Not every idea that pops into your head should you verbalize.
Yikes.
Because when you do that, you're not putting...
One's in the chat if you struggle with this. My mouth runs away sometimes, particularly in texting. I struggle quite a bit to shoot. Don't type that. But then once I get my cool, like, surgical precision delivery of the facts, real talk, Sammy feels called out. Same. One's in the chat if your mouth runs away with you. Words are like bullets, says Laura. Once fired from the mouth, they can wound and they can't be taken back. Facts. Can't put that shit back in the horse. All the ones. Hi, life artist. Thank you, Simi. Oh, yes. Take a bit. What was that guy? Jefferson Fisher. He was saying, just take a pause. And if you were we were watching the judge deal with Laurie Vallow Daybell in her escalating a teenage little hissy fit, and Judge Nick says too, your mouth doesn't run away with you, Nick. So jealous. His escalating, her escalating thing. Every time the judge went to reply, he took a deep breath and paused, and then replied. Yep, 100%. Put it down. Agreed. Strongly agreed. So twos. You all are measured in your responses here, Nick. Yeah, you guys are spies. Facts. Facts. And shunned one. Yes. Well, obviously. I'm pretty good at, in important conversations, I think I'm all right. I do a little to think of the perfect word choice, so I don't just let because words matter, and the word you choose, even if the other person doesn't necessarily understand the nuance of that particular word choice, it matters. Words matter.
Weight into your words. So verbal economics means choosing your words thoughtfully, and then what you're about to say, think of it as money.
Right.
And the more powerful and impactful the words, the more money you're putting down. It's currency that you're using with another human being. And if those words you're using have currency, have weight, they're going to impact that person more. But if you're just like spewing out everything you're thinking, there is no currency there because nothing is really truly of value. Look, it's going to happen where people and things are going to come out the wrong way or say the wrong thing. But when you can slow it down and really use this mindset of verbal economics, my words matter and they have weight, that they impact another human being in some way. And it can impact them in a positive or negative way. And it can also impact me, whether what I get from that relationship is positive or negative.
So how do you start assessing which are the high dollar bills and the low dollar bills?
It depends on the situation. Like I talk about priming a lot in the book. And priming is, you can prime people to be more open with you. And it's actually good negotiators, good people who do business. Before you do a pitch, we used to have the saying, even in the interview room, your opening line, you should always write that thing down. That should be rehearsed. You should never fly by the seat of your pants.
Yikes. All I do is fly by the seat of my pants.
Is going to be the defining moment and how the rest of your conversation is going to go. So like priming words, hi, I'm Evie. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to talk to you about the partnership and create an open relationship and an honest one where we can cooperate together. Now in there, I threw in priming words: open, cooperative, relationship. So I'm priming you to want to work with me to create this open environment. You can also do that with your environment far as like having open space, letting people not feel closed in. You can prime situations and people, talking to people, tables. I could teach people who do interviews or talk to people, and you're solid, you have open space here, but people do negotiations and they have tables between them. Biggest 101 fundamental, never negotiate with somebody with a table between you two. I taught this interviewing thing for realtors and how to sell better. I did a speaking presentation and they work so hard to get people to connect with them, to sell them property and all this stuff. And then they go to sit down to do paperwork. And what do? You worked all this time to build this rapport. And the minute you sit down at that table, you just killed it. Because now it went from an informal, hey, we're buddies, to all right, sit down and do business. And think about moments somebody sits down and does business, what do everybody do? You straighten up. Okay, we're going to do business now. Okay, I'm going to do my interview now. I don't want that guy or gal. I want the person before. I want my buddy.
And you have a table. I've heard you say the table and you can't actually see their body. And the whole point is to read people's body language.
Oh, yeah. How can I read somebody's? Tables work as barriers.
Right.
So they are psychological barriers. There's me and then there's you. Even I teach. I have a podium. I never stand behind my podium. I come out from the podium. I walk through the aisles of my classroom because I let my students know, hey, it's not me.
Pause. I'm going to say, I think I do my best work in voice notes. TED Talks are my jam. Just soliloquying into the phone. But also, yes, I agree. Not to be suggesting this is purely a neurodivergent thing, but many neurodivergents prefer written communications because that very fact. Simi says, Laura, same for me. I can take my time writing, but my mouth erupts and all my thoughts sometimes, and I have a hard time stopping once the floodgate opens. Agreed.
Me and then you.
Right.
It's us. I'm here with you.
Are we doing dates wrong then? Because people go on dinner dates.
No, for a date, you don't know this dude. You're a guy. You want to have some space between you. Me walking through the aisle and having a couple of feet between me is different. When you're sitting at a table, what are you talking about? 1 to 2 feet? Now on a date, I would be super thoughtful, especially if you don't know somebody. First dates, especially using apps or whatever, you really got to be mindful about who you meet. Public places, the first few dates.
Thanks.
Definitely have some space. Monitor that space between you and that person. Don't give personal information. Don't have them come pick you up at your home. I know I just went on a tangent with this, but I have so many people ask me about this, and I'm like, you have to be really careful. Don't trust unconditionally. You don't know people.
I really like that, because if you know that you're about to put yourself under pressure, whether it's a date or whether it's a job interview or whether it's something else, having these tactics of like how far to sit from someone. Like, I think about a lot of things. I don't even think about that, or like how that would impact you.
But I think about, this is what happens. When you're under pressure, you think about who? Yourself. And that's all you're thinking about. Me, I, I'm under pressure, I'm under this. And you're not thinking about the person across from you. One of the ways I deflect pressure too for myself is I'll think about,
Akasha, do my words look bitchy in this?
about that person. I forget about me, that I'm going to present, I'm going to speak, I'm going on camera. And what I do is, to relieve the pressure off of me, I'm like, what does that person want? And so when I can focus on who the recipient is, I forget about myself. So that is truly another tactic. Like, I just shot something, project here, and, you know, I wanted to make sure I did a really good job when we were shooting. And I took it back to like,
agreed, Kraken. FYI, we spend too much of our lives worried about what other people think, while those people don't give a fuck about us. And I'll add to that to say, yeah, because they're too worrying about what everybody thinks about them. I care about being authentic. I do care about what people think, but I don't tailor myself these days to be what I feel people might want me to be. No apologies. Like, I'm relatively happily me. But that's something where I do say to people when they're stressing about that, like, I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, honestly, no one else is, like, when I used to be a personal trainer, for example, and people felt some of my clients felt self-conscious to do X, Y, and Z in the gym. And I'd be like, don't worry about it. No one's looking at you. They're all too busy worrying about that everybody else is looking at them. Like, and that also goes same sort of, maybe not as positive, but relying on yourself first and foremost, particularly in things that are of importance to you. You really can't expect anybody else to make your priorities their priorities, because everybody has their own priorities. That's all, it's human nature to look after number one generally over everybody else, because that's self-preservation. And I mean, people do selfless things. Of course, many people do. But you have to never expect or hope that someone else will put your stuff at the top of their list, because they only have their own list of important priorities, stuff they need to get done, things that are important to them.
I'm delivering something for the viewer, something somebody's going to see. And so that's what matters. So I took myself out of it. I'm nervous. I want to do a good job, me. And I made it about them. What do they need to see? What do they need to hear so that it feels impactful and authentic? And that distracts me from me. But if you're presenting something, so to speak, be prepared. Like, a big part of pressure is not being prepared. And if you're prepared, that's one less thing you have to worry about. If you got on the right outfit, that's one less thing you have to worry about. If your hair and makeup are done in the way you feel confident, that's one less thing you have to worry about. So I look at it as columns. Let's say I'm nervous about something, right? I'm nervous about speaking because I'm just nervous and the pressure of speaking. So here's that column, speaking. I'm like, all right, here's where I have a struggle, but what other columns can I control? Well, I can control what I wear, so I feel good and strong. And I can control how I look, and I can control how much I prepare, and I can control my paralinguistics, my voice, my speech, my rate. So I'll check all these other boxes, where here it's like, all right, here I'm still kind of flailing a bit, but I control all these other things. Because you can go into a situation, and then again, going back to my previous career, where we would go into situations, have all these protocols in place, but in the end, I don't know how someone's going to respond or react, or if there's going to be an attack or whatever it's going to be. But I controlled all these other verticals. I'm prepared. I've got my gear on. I've got my shoes on that I need to run or fight with or whatever. My hair's pulled back. I'm confident. I got a good night's sleep. Whatever I need to do, I checked all those boxes so that when something does break bad or there's pressure, I'm good here. I just got to worry about here.
Hi, Stookie. Good to see you. Write and delete can be therapeutic. Over-analyzing, writing, and never sending may be similar underlying issues as being hesitant to speak. I agree. I agree. I think that goes in line with what Kraken said earlier about putting a draft in your notes app or similar if you have an Android phone, and typing it out without actually sending it. And I think often therapists, counselors in relationship separation of relationships, romantic partners, often suggest writing all the things you wish you could say, but not necessarily giving the person that letter or sending that email to your former significant other. I know this week I sent Steph a voice note of all the things that there was no point saying, and that it would just not to Steph, to somebody else, just so I could say those things and be heard and get them out without actually saying them to the person that I was feeling ways about. Play.
I love that. God, every time I talk to you, like, the thing that always just screams
Exactly,
so much
Heather.
is you just take ownership. You take ownership over your actions. You take ownership over the outcomes. And I heard
you've been in
in your
hospital.
book talk
Well,
about
I'm glad
taking
you're
ownership
back. I hope you're
over
okay.
the outcome. And a lot of people give away their power by saying, but this person advised me, this person told me to do this. And so they're giving away their ownership over the situation. But I've heard you talk about, like, no, even if other people give advice, it's on you. Talk to me about that. Have you always felt like that? How do you do that? And how do you do that and not going back to the shame thing? Take ownership over it, but not shame yourself.
I love what you just said, because what you said is exactly right. What a lot of people do is we'll blame other people because we think we're protecting ourselves. I'm going to blame this person because I don't want it on me. But what you don't realize is in the long term, you do damage to yourself, because that becomes your default. And now nothing is your fault and everything is everybody else's fault. And then nothing's going to work out for you. And you give your power away. When I blame other people, I do the exact same thing. And I came from an agency where they're like, they don't want to hear excuses. Save your excuses.
Neither.
So I was also groomed like,
same. Again, this goes back to what Kraken said. Another point that Kraken made about if you a person cannot or refuses to do, whether it's willful incompetence, ignorance, and feigned incompetence, or a choice, manipulation, which is all manipulation. If the commitment can't be met, whether it was requested or offered, I'm out. Like I'm out. It's not. I'm not here. We're not doing this. Authenticity should never be questioned or stated as too much. My authenticity is not the problem. Your insecurities are intimidated by what you've been groomed to think about what you don't understand. Preach. Pierre, hi. Yes, Pierre. Yes. Guess I needed to hear this tonight. It's lovely to see you, darling. Lovely to see some friendly faces and making it count. I've seen you in the schmo and salty chats. It's good to see you here. Akasha says there is always someone who is comfortable doing the thing that is traumatizing to you. It is not their place to force you to do it. Exactly. Well, Pierre, yes, but it's a skill one can hone, because I'm an extreme empath, but I've crafted and honed my boundary setting skills to protect myself, protect my energy, and to protect my mental health and my sense of well-being in life and my placement in life. I feel really comfortable with myself because, and I'm really, we're realistic that a lot of people, many, I'd say the majority of people, aren't that great with setting and asserting boundaries for themselves, with themselves, or even more so, people aren't used to having boundaries set by others for them, and they don't like it. Definitely. It's a skill. One can do it. And honestly, as an empath, to be able to set boundaries to protect your energy is vital to longevity and stability in one's mental health, I think.
Like, own your shit. You make a mistake, own it. You make a mistake, fix it. Nobody wants to hear it. Find out what it is, fix what it is, And then that way you can move forward and excel. You make yourself more insecure, and you hit your own confidence when you do that, when you blame other people. Because you're saying, all these people have control over me. I have no control over my fate or what happens. I'm the captain of my ship.
Steer it.
So I'm going to steer the direction it goes.
Boom.
And if a wave comes and it knocks me over, then I'm going to fix my ship and steer another way.
I love that so much. And so I've been, as you know, been suffering with health issues for 5 years. And for the first 3 years, I was going to all the doctors, waiting for them to fix me. But over time, I figured out what was wrong with my gut, and it was abuse on antibiotics. I was getting sick a lot. And so I was blaming the doctors. It's the doctors' fault. They were giving me too many antibiotics. I shouldn't have been having too many. They were just prescribing it. And I was then going to the doctors to fix me. Then the ownership thing came in. I was like, hang on a minute.
So wait, I'm going to hang on a
say
minute
that
for
it's
this.
on them that caused this.
I kind of agree with what Lisa's about to say here, and I kind of don't agree. Let me know what you think, chat.
How can I then take ownership over fixing it? But if I flip my mind and say, Lisa, this was you.
Lisa.
The doctors didn't force antibiotics down my throat. I swallowed them myself. The doctors would say,
what's that logical fallacy? The one where you just implicitly trust and believe everything that those in authority tell you, particularly in uniforms, like not that doctors necessarily wear white coats, but you go to the doctor, you trust that they're going to give you the right advice and give you appropriate treatment. And if that's antibiotics, many people, what's that logical fallacy? Chat'll know. Grooming authorities? Let's get listening. That's not it. We've done a whole show on logical fallacies. There's like 69 of them.
hey, I probably shouldn't give you this many antibiotics.
Appeal to authority. Thank you, colours.
Never once did I sit there with Google and go, what is the worst thing that can happen if I take too many antibiotics? And once I realized that, I was like, wow, this is all my fault. And that's amazing, because now I can fix it. Now I'm not waiting for the doctors to fix me. And immediately I started going to biohacking. I got like glucose level monitors.
So I agree with Lisa taking her own power back by realizing that she had the choice to take antibiotics or not. But like it's people that we're in Western culture, particularly Western society, we're absolutely taught, indoctrinated to trust implicitly the powers that be. And if that's doctors know. Same with diagnoses on things, right? We don't have to trust it. We can question it. We can steer our own ship.
And since then, over the last 2 years is when I've finally been able to make change.
Do you realize that this is profound for me? Do you realize that you were taking these medications and not questioning anybody? Why? Authority.
Yeah.
A doctor gave it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, he must know. He must know. Well, if he's telling me to take it and we don't question, it's like, oh, okay, doctor. The doctor told me to do this. The doctor told me to do that. But you're choosing to put it into your body.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have no sense of like responsibility over ourselves. You are responsible. Like, I am responsible for myself. So whatever happens to me because I choose certain things to some degree.
You're the
like, I choose. Like, I have a choice, and like, I monitor that decision. And if I choose wrong, I chose wrong. Rather than like this person, this. If I could say one of the things that, I don't want to say it's a pet peeve, but one of the things that disappoints me sometimes with folks is like when I hear excuses, and I'm like, why are you blaming everyone else for everything? Like, life is being done to you. You're not doing to life. You're not experiencing life. You're not doing it. It's being done to you. Everything is being done to you. And it's so easy to get into that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Right, because a lot of the time excuses are valid, like they're valid, right? If you were to come to me and you were like, oh my God, I just got robbed. And you're like, this guy, he was like 7 foot and I didn't see him coming. And so all of these things, like, and let's say they robbed you. But if you had said, oh God, this is a terrible situation.
Agreed, colours. They are supposed to tell you everything, but again, same as with attorneys, as with police officers, judges. In every profession, there are the exemplars and the losers, and the onus has to be on us to be curious, to ask questions, and to to not trust implicitly, right? Absolutely. Simi says, I will not use commercial medicine I will not use commercial medicine, ! I haven't been inside a hospital as a patient since I had my last child. She's 33. I am poor, so they aren't going to do right by me, so no fucking way. Facts. You set that boundary. Yes. I just ordered some herbal, not herbal, like some nutrient, some supplements, some things from something med something. Britt Ketchell gave me some really good advice on what her naturopath has suggested for her, and I'm going to build some alternatives to prescription medications. Not that I take anything, but Simi says, I have herbal remedies for everything. Yes, herbal remedies. It sounds like I'm going to be like burning sage, which I would. I'm not. But stuff that isn't traditional Western medicine, right?
Situation. In fact, I don't want to be victim blaming, and I worry that I'm about to go down a whole victim blame thing.
There's actually something called victimology.
Really?
Yes.
What's victimology?
Nick, are you being facetious?
Victimology is when we look at people who have been victims of crime to see if there's certain patterns. And there's certain things that make somebody either more or less susceptible to crime. And lifestyle is one of them. And so your lifestyle can impact you. It's not about blaming. It is lifestyle choices.
How do you separate the two then?
Well, it's about assessing. So it's like if I go out and I get drunk and I'm with a friend and my friend leaves me, I can either blame my friend for leaving me if something happens to me, or I could be like, I went out, I chose to get drunk. Part of that's on me because I didn't have a proper plan in place to make sure I had the right friend, to make sure maybe I didn't go out and get drunk. Growing up, I avoided drinking. I grew up in New York, and there's a lot of bad things happening out, but I wanted to go out and be young and experience the nightlife. So I chose. I'm like, I'm going to choose to have my wits about me, but I can still go out. And so I avoided drinking because I wanted to make sure nothing happened to me. That helped me stay safe to some degree. Or working out at night. Like I've expressed this to you. I work out at night and I go running at night, but I will make an assessment.
Just blindly, question
nothing.
nothing.
It looks really desolate here tonight. I'm not going to go. So victimology is about looking at patterns. And then the findings in the research of victimology also show that if somebody's victim of one crime, that they potentially are victimized multiple times. So usually you're not victim once, but multiple times. And I think that's a really good thing to look at, not just when we're talking about crime or something being happened to you, but in life. So if you see that you're constantly being victimized by people, right? This person took advantage of me, then this person did this to me. So if you're constantly in that victim space, ask yourself, what am I doing to let people think that they can do this to me? There's something I am doing or not doing that lets people think that they can treat me this way, that they can take advantage of me. And then being honest with yourself to change that.
Just you entering the Secret Service, what you had to do with your mind has been incredible. And that you said that you had to build mental armor
she's in black now
in order to be part.
Wait, this is the same interview as that earlier one we watched, a snippet from it. Wait, let me move this. Chat, do you want a song? Do you want a song to break it up? We've been going for 2 hours. Thank you so much for being here. I love the conversations we have. Chat is Bay. So many great insights, questions, conversation. It's just amazing. Nicholas says, there has to be authority and authority figures, else it's chaos. Agreed. It's about whether that authority is trusted. Agreed. But to trust blindly is problematic, right? But to question everything and to be kind of chaotic and anarchist in your outlook towards all authority can be tricky too. Colors. Is it tricky? And they are people just like everyone else. Your health is your responsibility. Ask questions. If you aren't satisfied with their answers, get a second opinion. Do your own research, learn stuff. True. Yes, goddamn. Yes, music. Agreed. Yes, please. Love music. Okay. Am I picking it? Because you all said to me, Lisa, confidence. Just pick it. And I was like, I don't know. There's so many here. I'm not sure. Wait. Let's just get this organized. This, and get rid of the buy me a coffee thing. Woo! Hot flush. Hello, perimenopause. Good to meet you. Love that for me. Yikes. It feels like the hot flush of shame. It's a really hard, it's really a tricky sensation, to be honest. Who else is with me on the perimenopause thing? It's just been in the last 2 weeks. I love that for me. Let me see. Walk and talk, chat. Walk and talk. Y'all love shine. Let's do shine. It's great. Let's be uplifted. Oh, wait. God, not a professional. What about this?
There's nothing I like better than snuggling up in a foxhole, discussing the mechanization of Russian agriculture, and listening to some Shorty tunes.
Good people shine the brightest in the darkest times. And wishes are like beauty, they are vain, vain things. Expect nothing at all, girl, but never lose hope. Walk a fine, fine line, give me just enough rope. Shine, shine, it's gonna be fine. Time is all mine. Fine lines, hard times make you who you are. Quitting ain't no option, girl, already come this far. Time is but a shadow in the construct of your mind. A lie unchecked becomes the truth, you know, time after time. Ephemeral and fleeting, fortunes always meet and run in circles. Water level things, gonna be just fine. Shine, shine, it's gonna be fine. Time is all mine. Fine lines, hard times make you who you are. But it ain't no option, girl, already come this far. Time is but a shadow in the construct of your mind. A lie unchecked becomes the truth, you know, time after time. Ephemeral and fleeting, fortunes always meeting, run in circles, water level things, gonna be just fine. Time, it's gonna be fine. Time is all mine. Fine lines, hard times make you who you are. Quitting ain't no option, girl, already come this far. Whoa, now slow down, what you gonna do? Lamplight and lifelines, the light in circles you. Opportunity, community, living, breathing entity, creation, foundation, building your eternity. Shine, shine, it's gonna be fine. Time is all mine. Fine lines, hard times make you who you are. But it ain't no option, girl, already come this far. Shine, time, fine, mine. Walk that line until the end of time. 'Cause good people shine brightest in the darkest times.
Yes, perimenopause. Lol, look at this. I could only put that many characters in the name of the Shorty music emote for members. And I keep thinking, why does it say Shorty? Can you take, I don't know about that. I don't have that at all, perimenopause or not. Occasionally. Sex drive. Pia says, I just don't want to lose my sex drive. I feel like I can tell you people that you can. I just told everyone. Sorry, Pia. Yikes. Dua Lipa, yes, possibly. Could be. Love that song. Same. Let's get back to Evie and Lisa Bilyeu. I say it fancy. It's not exactly how you say it. I think it's supposed to just say Bilyeu. Someone? Anyone? God, here we go with pronunciation. Yikes. Play. What do we got? What do we got here? New section.
Part of it. And that the Secret Service have to basically break you down in order to build you back up. Talk to me about that and what it takes to build mental armor.
Well, usually when you go through these types of academies, one of the things they do is they break you down. They're not there to tell you, keep going, good job. Like, you will not hear any of that stuff. They put you through a lot of stress. And part of the psychology behind that is, it's actually called a hormetic effect, where you induce small amounts of stress into someone, and those small amounts of stress, when they happen, you learn to cope with them. And so you cope, greater stress, you learn to cope, greater stress, you learn to cope. And so what happens is you are a very different person from the day you show up, day one, to the day you leave, because that they are helping build your resilience. And
so, Colors, this is a compilation of some of the best of from the chats that Evie and Lisa had in their 6 or so part Unstoppable series. So yes, another outfit. I like the black. I like the white. Great. Love, 10-10. Love these ladies very much.
And building mental resilience is having stress in your lives, which is really goes against everything else that you hear. It's like, oh, live stress-free. You don't want stress in your life. Everything should be zen. It's the exact opposite, because if you're not, think of it this way, if you're not dealing with any stress, if you're not dealing with adversity, you're not dealing with obstacles, then when something does happen, you're not going to know what to do. Stress is good. Certain levels of stress are good. They teach you how to cope. They teach you how to problem solve. They teach you how to fail, and then to do better the next time. So training is like that. They break you down, and they also want to see who you are when you are stressed out, because when you're stressed, you act, you don't really get to think. And a big part of that is you want to see somebody's true nature, stress them out, and see who they are. You know, people, it'll tell you a lot about somebody when they're not actually thinking about, what do I do here? And can you think under stress? Not everybody can.
So when you're under that amount of stress,
gorgeous,
what do you personally tell yourself to get through
it? Turn gay for Evie.
I've heard you say that it's not only such a male-dominated field, but it's like one of the hardest male-dominated fields. So for you, like, how do you level up to perform at the level that they expect like the men to perform?
The truth is, Lisa, I don't know, because I didn't go in there thinking, oh,
shunned one, lol, I'm going to have to start wearing like mousy gray, kind of dark, dirty blonde wardrobe selections. I've got so many tops to wear, y'all. Did you notice? I did tell you that I changed tops between streams today. I've got that many tops. I need to like wear different ones for each stream.
I'm a woman. Oh, it's going to be harder for me. Oh, they're not going to want me. It didn't matter to me, because if I went in with that mindset, I'm a woman, because right then and there, I'm defeating myself, because I'm thinking, because I'm a woman, first of all,
same, Kraken. I think a lot of people would agree, would identify with what you've said here. Kraken says, there is an arc. I've had the most intensely life-shattering, multiple complex traumatic events. Same. Compounded also, all in one and spread out. It's been fun. I love it. You want to stand by me in the tragedy, but when I can live in, then I do, knowing what's in store. Yes. What's that thing Marilyn says? If you can't handle me at my worst, and also my life when it's at its worst, do you deserve me at my best? Some people don't like the hard times. Nobody likes the hard times, but they're part of life. And it's the ones that run or go into hiding because they find someone else's trauma or speaking about their trauma uncomfortable. I'm not sure about those people.
First of all, I'm making it a negative that I am a woman and it's a problem. And so now psychologically, I'm putting myself, before anybody even had a chance to put me at a disadvantage, I just put myself at a disadvantage, because and fill in the blank. I am put your race, put your ethnicity, put your gender, put whatever you want. I am this, no one's going to like me. But you show people who you are. If you sit there and you're verbally trying to convince everybody, hey, I should be here. Hey, you should respect me. Hey, you should this. You're gonna go bananas. And so you just perform. So in areas where I was weak, I performed. If I had to run, look, I was not a great runner. I never had to run before. And so I went into the academy.
I think that's what Evie said in the last one. Was it the last one? Or was it this one? Recently. She was wearing either black or white. Can't remember. Hard times can make you stronger. I think absolutely. I mean, what's the alternative? Oh, I suppose it could break you mentally, and it could, hard times could, and sometimes do, for all of us, that's being human. but also it teaches you resilience. I'm sure people who've had a lot of traumatic events would say, and or like a lot of roller coastering in their lifetime. I know I would say I'd love some calm sailing. I'd love some no roller coaster. Just give me like the boats on the water, you know, the duck, Alice in Wonderland, teacups, something. Bad analogy. But yes, resilience is tenacity and also exhausting.
And I was like, the running we did it was beyond running. It was just running with gear on. It was running with boots on. It was running just for miles and miles. It's running in the heat and the freezing cold.
I noticed your selection of words, colors.
And so when we finished running during the day in training, guess what I did?
Colors, yes, that's let's carry on with that, because that goes to toxic positivity. If colors had said hard times make you stronger, that I would have read that as being, yeah, but that's denying, that's invalidating the hard times. Your use of putting can in there absolutely changed that statement to a really powerful one. Hard times can make you stronger, and let's be realistic, they mostly eventually do. It might take a while to get through the journey of the grieving, the recovering from hard times. And if they come at you over and over again in a shorter period of time, it can really knock you about. I noticed your choice of words, colors, and I appreciated it. Words matter, and agree.
I did at night. I went running. And so there's this level of psychology. It's like I was there.
I know Lisa's going to jump on this.
I wasn't going anywhere. So beyond that, we have so much power. We don't realize, and we think that when we hear this noise or chatter around us, it's up to you how much you let.
Wait, pause. I didn't give Nick enough time on this comment either, because I put it on the screen, but I didn't. For starters, this. I love it the way we critique the hair and style of our video guests. Yes, we talk about everything here. There are no boundaries. The peer then said she'll take a hard time a couple of times a week. Lucky you. It's a muscle. That's what she said. Oh, I can't find a couple of my t-shirts, my merch store t-shirts. That's what she said is somewhere. I'm doing a wardrobe switch over from hot weather to cold weather after that we go off live. But that's what she said. And my Let Them t-shirt. I was going to wear Let Them tonight. Damn it. Life Artist loved it. But where? Nick. Where did Nick? Here it is. What's worse is when you sit with someone in their hard times and then you don't hear from them ever once they're in their good times. I feel like I know maybe who, well, I know someone that you might be sort of referring to. Could be wrong. Never assume. It makes an ass out of you or me. Yes, that is sort of a gut punch, isn't it? When it feels like they forgot you and your grace with them. But can I put a flip onto that, Nick? And who said yes? Simi said yes, Nick. That is heartbreaking when that happens. But also, let me put it this way. Sometimes, perhaps, let's put a hypothetical for the sake of argument. Perhaps, Nick, you may well represent to them wrongly or misguidedly from your point of view, but perhaps if you sat with them in their hard times, they then link you as a reminder to that hard time. And from a self-preservation point of view, perhaps sometimes, not always, I'm perhaps giving another side to that maybe that hard time was so hard for them that they got through it with your help, and that to see you again might remind them. There might be some shame there also from that person if the hard time was something that maybe they felt a sense of, again, whether it's misguided or not, guilt or shame over that particular situation. Then perhaps they don't want to be reminded of how embarrassed they are for that situation. Just an idea. And also, let's remember that in life, some things and people come into our lives and out of our lives, and it works both ways for reasons. And, you know, is it for a short season or a long season? And maybe, like, you from the point of view of the universe, Nick, perhaps you served your purpose to them and for them. And that's a chapter, right? Food for thought. Here's me getting all deep and meaningful.
You let it penetrate you.
Penetrate.
It's like you create this mental shield. So it's, who do you let in and what do you keep out? If after I did all these things, people still had an issue with me, despite outperforming even them, then at that point, you know, I'm not the problem. You're the problem. And so sometimes it's like, I'm actually not weak. You're the one who's weak, right? Weak people push other people down so that they can feel stronger. Hearing people's opinions is important because they can help guide you. But it's also important to know which opinions you should listen to and when which opinions you should not listen to. Can you differentiate the difference between those that matter and those that don't?
How do you decide that?
You know, in my case, when I went, my first week of training actually with the Service Academy, I remember some guys pulled me aside and they said, some people don't want you here. They don't think you should be here. And I remember thinking to myself, I just showed up. How do people not want me? And the reply was, well,
like, I'm a fucking delight. How can people not love me
to do this job? And at that point, I was like, all right, well.
She's so beautiful.
I'll show you. And so it wasn't about me getting into an argument and debating it. It was
I'm going to pause and, Lisa, I'm going to pause and also say, I even love Evie's voice. Like, I love that little tiny whistle she's got in her voice. Frothing over here. 100% would turn gay. Nick, would you turn gay for Evie?
About doing it. And I think we do is we process things in our head. And sometimes thinking, worrying, all that stuff, we create our own mental chatter and it distracts us from actually moving forward. And I focused on putting one foot in front of the other. If I sat there and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get through the next 6 months? That would have been very difficult. But it's like, how am I going to get through the next 5 minutes? How am I going to get through the next class? How am I going to get through the next hour of shooting? How am I going to get through the next hour of combat training? And that's how I did it. That's how I approached it. But when you see that you're doing all these things and you're doing well, you also have to check in with yourself. Am I doing everything I can? Yes, I am. Am I succeeding? Yes, I am. So it's not me, it's you. But if I'm falling short, if I'm not running at night, if I'm not training hard at night, and I just show up there waiting for people to accept me, well, then now it's me. And so a lot of it is self-assessment.
Lady Boner.
It's 50% you, and then it's 50% the other person. But you really have to be honest with yourself. If you're blaming everybody outside of you for what's going wrong, for what's happening, for why this, why that, this person doesn't like me, this person doesn't respect me. If you're so focused on that person,
Shelley,
you're not looking at you.
Kraken, we've written that down in our write that down section in the mod chat. Oh my God, Lady Boner, so good. Wait, I'm going to say, I don't love the term victim. I think someone mentioned before about victim. I think it was Stookie, as being I find victim a problematic word in a lot of things, and I don't like to ever think of myself as a victim. I am very careful when I choose my verbiage when I'm talking about the traumas and the situations and the paths my life has taken to take ownership and accountability for some of it, not all of it, but some of it. But the shadow work that I did, the sort of 3 or 4 years of really deep introspection and self like navel gazing, was a lot for me to be able to. Not that I was having a bit of a pity party about this real compound few years of really intense, concentrated series of events that, because of where my life had taken me, because of the choices I'd made, led me to be treated very poorly by the people around me. And so I spent a lot of time coming to terms with my role in those things, not to own all of it, but to just accept it all as having been, and to grow and learn and to not make those mistakes again, not make those choices again, and not put myself in situations like that again. It's all very complex. Like she said, opinions are important for you opinions are important for you. Choose which one you listen to. At the same time, those opinions you didn't ask for don't matter. Yet what? It's not my business what anyone else thinks about me, right?
Yeah. God, I love everything you just said. Like, I'm such a believer of like, be so good they can't ignore you. Like concentrating on yourself, being so good at what you're doing that everyone around you literally cannot ignore you because you're that good. And so
yes, it's me.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely resonates with me. And I love what you said is like earning respect. You can't persuade someone to give you respect. You have to earn
You
it.
can't make people respect you.
Right.
Respect is a gift. If somebody wants to give it to you, they will. And if they don't, they don't. And I think there's something freeing in that, and knowing that I do everything I needed to do. I'm like,
wind that back. I love that. That's very wise. It's nobody owes me anything, including respect. I love that. Let's do it.
It's with me. And I love the way you said is like earning respect. You can't persuade someone to give you respect. You have to earn
You
it.
can't make people respect you.
Right.
Respect is a gift. If somebody wants to give it to you, they will. And if they don't, they don't. And I think there's something freeing in that, and knowing that I do everything I needed to do. I'm letting it go. If you want to respect me, you can. And if you don't want to give it, that's fine too. You can't force it. And in some sense, you don't need it.
Oh,
you don't need it.
So when you walked into, let's say, interrogation rooms, is respect even on the table? Is that something that is important in those moments?
So it's interesting because before I became an interrogator, I didn't want to become one. I was a polygraph examiner, and my job was to step in and get confessions from people for cases where we had a difficulty, we didn't have enough proof, or the person wasn't confessing, and this person would get away with a crime. And initially, I didn't want to be an interrogator. I thought, who's going to
take that a bit further? Equally, respect is a gift that you can give to others, not just having respect from others, being respected by others, but equally, that goes to that sort of two-way street conversation we were having before. I really love it. Yes, new merch idea. Can't force others to do anything. Can only adjust yourself, right? And I guess that respect as being a gift is a bit like in family dynamics. Just because they're your family doesn't mean that it's healthy or wise or fair for you to be obligated or to feel obligated or to be made to feel obligated to have those family members in your life. Wow, it's all very intertwined, isn't it? Interwoven, not enmeshed, interwoven. It's very. It all links in with each other, all this stuff, and there's some real good crossovers. I love it. I love it.
They're going to see me. They're going to high five themselves and be like, "Oh, this is going to be easy." And I'm happy in this situation
100%.
that the senior examiner believed in me more than I believed in myself. And he's like, "You will be good at this because no one's going to see you coming. No one's going to see it coming. They're going to underestimate you, and that's a positive thing." And
Lisa is also feeling the same froth, the lady bone that we've all got for Evie. That Lisa then was like, she's feeling how we're feeling. I don't know. I'm gonna speak for all of you, chat and replay crew. Hi. There's such powerful stuff. Watch. I swear. When I was watching all of these a few weeks ago now, I felt so uplifted. I felt so inspired to believe in myself and to believe that I was justified in believing in myself. Like, white knuckling it on the self-belief.
And, and I was like, well, how am I going to get people to respect me in the room? What if I have an issue?
Thank you. That's much better.
And one of the things he also told me is like, don't force it.
Twist it up.
Command respect. So we would do simple things like, hi, how are you? Evie, nice to meet you. Have a seat. I'd show you where to sit. It was my room. I'd have a maneuver where, for example, like my chair had wheels on it. The person's chair whom I was interviewing didn't have wheels on it. the psychology behind that was I can move around. This is my room. You're stuck in that chair.
Suck it, bitch.
And so there are certain little things that I could do to show you I was in charge rather than tell you I was in charge. One of the things they warned me about, they said, don't tell people that you're the boss. I'm the boss. I'm the authority. You listen to me. The minute those words come out of your mouth, you just did the exact opposite.
Pause. Yes. Also, if we're talking about this channel, our community, there's been a few times in the last couple of months where my collegial, genuine, like it is our channel, it is our community. I don't feel like I want to run a dictatorship, despite my supreme leader status. There's been a couple of times when that's come back to bite me, whereby there's been from a couple of people a little bit of nobody here, a little bit of an expectation or a vibe of entitlement to it being like a socialist kind of communist, everybody has a say, and it's taken everything in my power those handful of times to not say, like, fuck, man, at the end of the day, it is my channel and I do call the shots. I thought those things, I just didn't say it out loud much. But it's a tricky place to be, because if you foster a community vibe, even though at the end of the day in that arena you are the boss, where do you say, like, appreciate all of that, but also, like, at the end of the day, it is my call. I am the boss.
You just lost.
I am Miss Shorty. Goddammit!
You have to tell somebody you're the boss. Do you think they don't know you're the boss? If I said to the person, "Hey, I'm the special agent," do you think they didn't know they were sitting across from a special agent? And so it takes away from you. And so it's less this and more showing through action. How do you carry yourself? How do you walk into a room? How do you speak? How do you project your voice? All those things exude power, and all those things command respect.
But I've actually got a quote of yours that is
Colors, you give great suggestions. So does Brits. Everybody does. Princey, everybody. There's Nick. I don't want to name people because I will forget people, and that would be unfair. I love the suggestions. I sometimes bristle a little bit, and that's a failing in me, to bristle. But I think you'll notice that I'll, with a few more back and forwards in that suggestion, I'll be like, I mean, actually, yeah, that's probably a good idea. And Nick and I had a phone conversation a little while back about some stuff, some of that, the stuff that happened a few months ago, and he gave me some really good advice. And it took us probably an hour for me to come around to be like, yeah, you're right, Nick. Like, you're right, Nick. You better not pass through. You better be staying. God damn it! Don't get stuck in St. Petersburg like colors.
Very powerful. I would like to read. My success is in standing my ground wasn't really about my physical strength. It was about my mental conviction. I had to speak with confidence to make sure those who heard my message heard it clearly the first
Miss
time.
Shorty,
and when I did act, I had to do it so in a way that assured it would not be mistaken for weak,
don't you know who I am?
Uncertain of my abilities.
Yeah.
Ooh, how do you do that?
It's the way you carry yourself. I feel like
break it down.
Okay, is this the girl we saw before? I mean, same girl.
Like, but that's the thing. Like,
badass.
Power and strength. First, it lives in the mind.
Right.
So if I think myself strong, I am strong. If I think I'm like, even with that, Chinese delegate, or when I've had altercations with somebody bigger than me, or somebody's messed with me, and I knew maybe they could take me. My mind, I'm like, all right, man, you may walk over here, and you may beat me, but I promise you, you're going to be limping back. You're going to have to earn that. And that's kind of like that sentiment I've always had. Like, I don't ever put myself underneath. It's like, I'm going to brawl if I need to brawl. But again, like I'm speaking this way, but it really isn't my go-to behavior. It was though. Like,
are you Googling, Abby? It was Amber who put me onto the Evie phenomenon. And I really appreciate it. She really is. She just has that really strong, positive, feel-good vibe, and I love. But Shelley, are you googling her? She hosted a reality series too, Spy Games, on what streaming platform? Not me binging, not me hyper focusing on Evie Pomporis. Holly Berry, hi Holly Berry, hi Holly Berry. Good to see you, girl.
I really did want to fight everybody when I was younger, and I wanted to express my opinion and force my opinion down other people's throats. And I'm like, why am I doing that? And I realized that we do that, one, ego.
She was a Secret Service agent.
Your ego runs amok. And then two, insecurity. Especially when you're younger, you're trying to figure yourself out, so you don't know who the hell you are. And
I'm going to buy her
being
book.
grounded in yourself. So I really think it's like just about
on my phone,
pausing and not letting yourself kind of like run wild.
But once you do that, because you then say like, and when I did act, I had to do so in a way that assured it would not be mistaken for weak or uncertain of my ability.
All right, so I'll give you an example. Paralinguistics.
I'll give you.
I've talked about this. If I don't want somebody to go into.
Wait, pause. Evie's book, Becoming Bulletproof, on Audible, narrated by Evie. Yes, buying it. Oh, it's not out yet. Damn it. No, it is. It came out 4 years ago. What am I talking about? I'll let you know, chat. I'll give you a review. Done.
Into this room. I'm going to say, you can't go into this room. Versus, you can't go into this room. So my tone, my pitch, I speak with conviction. So what do you sound like when you deliver your information? What words do you use? That's the thing.
They suck my
What
dick.
do they hear? What do they hear when they hear you? Like, I know a lot of people who can't watch themselves on camera, can't hear themselves. Like, oh my God, is that what I sound like? Then fix it.
How would you start to fix it then?
Look, you want to strengthen your voice. You don't want to be like, okay, you can't go into this room. You can't go into this room. It's like, you can't go into this room. You also have to believe in what you're saying and why you're saying. So when I did my previous job, like, I was protecting the president of the United States. I had the backing of the U.S. Secret Service. And look, having that gives you confidence. Gives you confidence. But I also went through training academies and I had people get in my face. I had to deal with things. But the more adversity you deal with, the more resilient you become. When you don't deal with adversity, when you avoid conflict, you don't know what to do when real conflict shows up. Repetition.
Pause, repetition, pause. Kraken says, I wouldn't even say I wanted to force my opinion when I was younger. I've learned those of us on the spectrum are wanting to contribute. We're not saying to do it my way, but it's taken as such, right? Oh my God, I had this conversation at my workplace, and I work with high school educated at best. Maybe they finished high school. In fact, no, none of them did. Just me with a postgraduate level of education. And I love helping. And I see things from my neurodivergent perspective. I see things outside the box. I'm also standing back as a traffic controller with boring as batshit a lot of the time, nothing else to do. And these dumbass men, doing things their neurotypical way. And I give my suggestions and feedback, and they're like, it's a whole thing. I'm the only woman on site all the time. And they're like, stay in your lane, Lisa. And we all joke about it. I'm like, yeah, but I like helping. I'm like, but I live by myself. You all are the only people I talk to, and I have good ideas. And stay in your lane, Lisa. Fuck off. Don't you know who I am? Don't you know I'm Miss Shorty?
In creating habits that are healthy so that when things happen, you default to those habits. And you pull up that version of you. So I have that version of me that's the stand your ground version. It's like, oh, no. But I'm also tactical about it. So if somebody can come at me or do something or betray me, I'm not going to come at them with the most obvious of ways. I'm also not going to do anything that brings me lower. You know, and it gets really hard, man, because that Greek part of me and that Queen's part of me wants to come out. But I won't call that person names. I really
pause. Maintaining one's level of vibration. I feel like I vibrate quite high. You might disagree, chat, replay crew, perhaps. the whole let them mantra that we really preached a few months back, and me, I've always generally chosen to take the higher ground and not be baited, Chameleon, and if you maintain yourself, and it goes back to boundaries, if you're setting your boundaries, which are fair and reasonable and kindly asserted, but maintained, and that's all about maintaining your authenticity, right? It's really important. Do they know you're Miss Shorty? Are they aware you have a channel? Yes. They are. Kenny, who's the Choi Lun, the Vietnamese boy, he's like 35. Yes, they do. I don't tell them about it often, and because, like, how do you explain? Like, I don't know. Like, I do true crime. We watch trials. I'm a law nerd. We talk about psychology and narcissists and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's like they actually don't have the, no shade. They actually don't necessarily have the capability or the capacity to understand what I could possibly be doing, nor would they understand that I spend all of my weekends doing this because I love it and that this is my passion. They're kind of worker bees, right? Say my name, bitch. I got merch, y'all. I'm sitting here on my channel wearing my own merch, drinking out of my own merch, putting my stuff in my own merch. What? I'm a saint. Fuck's sake, I'm Saint Miss Shorty. I haven't told them I'm a saint. Let's put it that way.
He really will control, but I'm like, I'll fix you in some other way, but the right way, the best way, the strategic way, not to hurt you, but to kind of get you out of their way. And you know what's interesting too? There's two main reasons, there's two types of personas to be careful of. People who are extremely self-righteous and people who use justification. And so let me start with justification. When I did...
Akasha, you've said that before, like your boss thinks that you're too badass, right? Too hardline, and you think she's not badass or hardline enough. That's tricky, because if you're going to be her successor, the people that she manages are going to be expecting that kind of management style. It's not an ideal situation for anyone, really. You absolutely could be the boss. I don't know how successful a boss you'd be given the culture of that team, right? Tricky stuff. Kraken says, Normie, Akasha, Normie's single box thinking can't handle being questioned. Nope. Yeah, exactly. It would probably be more beneficial for you to, if you wanted to step up in your level of role in a workplace, is to take your management style and your communication style into a new workplace with a more similar previous boss. It's like a recipe. People aren't going to be liking the boundaries you're going to insist upon when they're used to Little Miss People Pleaser.
Did interviews, polygraphs. I would interview people who did really horrible things. And can I tell you, they will almost always justify it. We would have the saying, any person can do anything at any given moment in time, given the opportunity. Because you can justify it to yourself. Well, I punched him, or I hit him with a bat because he shoved me. That's justification. Or I'm going to go after him and his money, or after his family because he did this to me or she did that to me. And justification is very dangerous, because you use that to justify you doing something bad or somebody else.
Interesting, Nick. Interesting. Yes, Nicholas Tickles. Thank God you steered away from that interloper handle you had for just a minute there, because that was triggering for all of us. Nick says, one of the reasons I used my real name until very recently on here was so I stayed true to who I am. Well, but now you're a general or something, aren't you? What are you now? A colonel in the coalition. Same on X. Pseudonyms might allow me to become someone else. I think we've had this conversation before with regards to me doing this on the weekends, and it's a world away from being a traffic controller, and the surreal nature of me going back to work on a Monday. I'm more comfortable with that pattern of my life now, although the tedium and the time wastingness of it all, of being at that job, even though I still love the job, is tough to take sometimes. My brain needs more. It is kind of fun to be a secret, have a life that's just yours, or in a different community. Interesting. Nick, I think you'll always be you, but I don't know if you can be anyone else, Nick. Can you? Even with a pseudonym? I don't think it's in your nature. Nick is first commanding colonel. I'm sorry. I should know the ranking and who holds those ranks within my own coalition, within the world. Yes, same. Well, my my handle started off on YouTube as It's Miss Lisa, because I used to be always known as Miss Lisa back in the day. People often call me Miss Lisa, all my life, long before this. And then I changed it to It's Miss Shorty, and then just Miss Shorty when I started creating shorts. Told this story a quadrillion times, but I'm kind of the same at work. Like, I'm just as delightful. They don't necessarily appreciate my delight. I'm like, well, imagine if you just had some boring traffic controller who just like blah on a phone the whole time, didn't talk to you, didn't get, like, I give them all positive encouragement and congratulate them and thank them when they've done great work, because their team leader doesn't. Even though he's, Nick, I don't think he can be anyone else, but give it a go.
Else we use that to justify harming you. At the end of the day, what you're doing is horrible. Just be aware of that. You're just justifying it to yourself. Even when I interview people who committed crimes of passion or just crime in general, well, I did this to her because she did that, because she led me on, because she teased me, whatever the case may be, or because she, betrayed me in this way. And so people hit back. So you ever have that time where you're like, I can't believe this person.
So now I need to know, Kraken, sidebar, Kraken, I know your name isn't Kraken. I won't dox you. Zip, Lisa thought I already doxed Pierre for her desire to have a hard pounding every week. But wait, is Kraken a thing from fucking SpongeBob? Because that's SpongeBob. I'm so confused. Holly Berry says, my job doesn't appreciate my delightfulness either, but the people who actually rely on me for help do. Well, good. That's win-win. Win-win-win. Nick, I've never seen you write an unkind thing. Even when you were dealing with all the monkeys, you were firm, fair, and respectful. Very much the fatherly influence. Like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, from Nick. Twice a week. Yes, twice a week. Man, it's been years. I've forgotten what you're even talking about.
Person did this to me. He's like, yes, you can. You know why? Because in their minds, they justified what they're doing to you. That's why sometimes we have these moments like, what are they thinking? They're thinking, I'm justified. The other persona to watch for is self-righteousness. That is huge. So that's the I am holier than thou. I know better. I'm above you. Or when you have people, you ever have anybody be like, you know what, I'm really going to pray for you because you need it. Right? Yeah. Anybody says that to you, it's like, first of all, it's the most condescending thing you can say to someone, because it's insinuating I'm closer to God or Allah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is important. Let's listen to this. Pay attention, Lisa.
I am holier than thou. So you ever have that time where you're like, I can't believe this person did this to me? It's like, yes, you can. You know why? Because in their minds, they justified what they're doing to you. That's why sometimes we have these moments like, what are they thinking? They're thinking, I'm justified. The other persona to watch for is self-righteousness. That is huge. So that's the I am holier than thou. I know better. I'm above you. Or when you have people, you ever have anybody be like, you know what, I'm really going to pray for you because you need it. Right? Yeah. Anybody says that to you?
Yikes.
It's like, first of all, it's the most condescending thing you can say to someone, because it's insinuating I'm closer to God or Allah or whoever you believe to than you are. So I'm going to talk to him for you.
Nick, are you?
No, don't worry about it. I'll go talk to him.
Don't answer this if you don't want to. Are you still that former name on Twitter? the ex, or have you've gone incognito?
Or her, myself. And with self-righteousness, it's like you believe you're so right, and that's rigidity. That when you think, no, I'm so right. Let me tell you how right I am. Red flags. And look at how people treat other people. Because if they gossip about other people, they treat other people the wrong way. I promise you, they're doing the same thing to you or will do the same thing to you. You have to look at people holistically, who they are with everybody, because that's going to come back to you.
And that's integrity, right?
That's so amazing. I love those breakdowns. So if you've noticed these characteristics,
okay, wait,
people,
pause.
Is that when you're like,
so chat, not all of you were in our, was it last week, where we were watching Alex, the guy that Joe Schmo had a problem with his body language, the ADHD chatter podcast. And remember, her name is Crystal, I think. Can't remember her name. The blonde girl, the blonde lady who was a hypnotherapist and certified therapist, something. And they were talking about the different personas and that everybody's like an orange, right? There was a theory that a psychologist posed to Alex, who is ADHD and I think also autistic, that maybe we're not masking, right? Maybe all of those, and Colors says she's the same with everyone. And I had a thought about this. Side quest. Colors, I couldn't sleep that night. And I very rarely, normally I fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. And Colors said, I'm like that with everybody. And then I thought afterwards, yeah, but Colors, you don't, your world is quite, like you have your family world and you have your chat world with us. But at the moment you don't have you don't go to an outside job. So I wanted to say, yeah, but also Colors, you don't have as many things pulling on you in terms of who you need to be for people. You basically are you, Colors, not you, but Colors in your world. Side quest, wind it back. So we're talking about the orange. I just thought of it and I couldn't sleep. I'm like, I wish I'd said that then. Damn it. So the orange. So is it inauthentic, chat, do you think? Not necessarily from a neurodivergent standpoint, but just as a person standpoint, to be slightly different in different aspects of your life. So are you slightly different with your friends, IRL friends, if you have any? I don't, just you guys. As to how you are in your workplace, as to how you are with your immediate family unit in your home where you live, as you are with your extended family, and so on, or as you are out shopping. Is it inauthentic to have slightly different versions of yourself? I don't think so. I think we're not talking about like Jekyll and Hyde shit. I think we're talking about sort of nuanced, slight differences that are adaptable, chameleon-like, if you will, in certain situations. Yes. I knew that. All of my head all the time, right? Real life friends, says Holly Berry. Huh? Yeah. But I wonder, like, I wasn't. So that's my question then. Like, we're not exactly the same. Like, I'm pretty much the same in my work, but like I give positive feedback to at the shops. Like if when I'm doing my grocery shopping, my one external, not work, not live streaming Camp Shorty thing in public, and like I'll say to the checkout person, the cashier that you say, like I love your hair, or like residents walking along the street, I always give people lovely compliments, and I'm basically the same everywhere. It's not like I'm this person here and then I'm a totally different person here. It's like variants, subtle shades, all coming from the one person. Are you following me? Did I go off on way too much of a tangent? No. Possibly. But here we are. I'm Miss Shorty, goddammit. Laura says, I don't think so either. A time and a place kind of a thing. Appropriate behavior for the given situation. Like, so it's hard for me these days because I also have a very finite and very, very, I do the same thing all the time. It's just a couple of different things. Like, let me think about so for example, when I was a Lorna Jane manager, store manager, women's athletic wear, high-end, and also a personal trainer, but I was also like a massage therapist in a rub and tug. Obviously, I'm going to be quite different in that massage environment than I was teaching classes and working with personal training clients as I was in Lorna Jane, but they're all me. Shelley says, someone just screamed outside, I'm so glad I found this community. Publicly buzzed, Defense Diaries, Joe Schmo, Joe Sarge, Brain, Salty, Jay, my world view evolves more and more. Isn't it lovely? I love this conversation starters, right? Stookie says, IMO, in my opinion, totally normal, professional at work or school, social, family roles, with friends, with strangers, passing in the street, all parts of our personality. Exactly. Like, I'm kind and courteous and generally chirpy, generally kind of bubbly everywhere I go. I always treat others how I would like to be treated. The golden rule: do unto others. I want to say that at work I wouldn't be saying fucking cunt with a hard T, but I'd probably say it more. But perhaps when I was studying, I certainly wouldn't have, like 20 years ago when I was studying in class at university, I wouldn't have been as cussy and sweary as I am these days. Yes, it's perfectly natural. One acts one way with friends and another way with grandma. Yet another way with authority. None are fake. All are me. But I feel a different way, so I act a different way. Yes. And there's different boundaries in place in those different situations, right? I mean, Akasha, I don't know, but maybe Akasha in healthcare, it has a responsibility to be ultra professional and not kill anybody. And then here in Camp Shorty, Akasha can let her all caps free and we say whatever we want. Basically, we're all kind and respectful to each other. But I don't know if it is thinking colors. Like, I think we're like agile, most people. We're flexible, that we can slightly, most people, except for very rigid, very strict, very disciplined, and toxic idiots who are just idiots to everyone. Well, then they're the same everywhere, aren't they? I don't know if we're thinking about it. I don't often consciously adaptable. You wouldn't be businesslike with family, for example. There it is, exactly. Speaking of Joe Schmo, thanks. There he is. By the way, I'll be on Salty Sleuth Investigates tomorrow at 11 Central, so 12 Eastern. Happy ending massage, yes. Rub and tug, yes. Talking about Laurie Vallow Daybell with Joe Schmo. Can't wait. We all adapt to circumstances, but essentially I'm the same person everywhere. Yes, Nick. However, none of my family are on X or are into true crime, and not one of them would have ever heard of Karen Reid, for example. Yeah, like when they go, whoa, what do you mean? Trying to explain, like, well, so it's this whole thing where we were like, something I'm proud about every week with the money we raise for Karen's defense fund. And like, then what is, like, how do you tell that story? I guess just you can't make it sound anything other than a little bit off the wall and weird to those guys at my workplace. Like, I mean, so we donated all of the money and it was really exciting, and you know, she's on trial for murder that she's being framed for and factually innocent. Anyway, yes. Yes, roll call. Nick says, you lot are my guilty secret. There you go, Sarge. Yes, busy day. Hi, Cheryl. Good to see you. Akasha. Okay, I am the same wherever I go. I do try to turn down my swears sometimes. I am very swear at work. Lol. Same. I act the exact same with my grandparents. Yes. But if you were working in an office, colours, oh, you probably would. I'm not even going to talk to you about it. I mean, I am. I got you. You're the same everywhere, colours. I mean, not so much. 11 years in. Nick. However, Stucky says, however, some people have to hide closet parts of self due to work, religion, culture, their history. In my opinion, people should be free to be who they want to be as long as they are not harming others. Yes, so long as that ethos of being kind and treating others as you would like to be treated sort of stands resolute. Agree. And then there's the folks who are maybe not the best folks, right? So if we give a nod to our friends, the narcissists, who are but a shell, but a husk of an actual person with depth and nuance and substance, and nothing they do is genuine or with integrity. They would suggest otherwise, but it's pretty clear. Those people, who knows what their authentic self is? They don't know. They don't know. Makasha says, I'm probably this way as a result of being whoever the situation needed me to be for most of my young life. Yep. I think that's why, like a chameleon, that's why I believe that a lot of sex workers are probably neurodivergent. Many, the majority. Whether they know that or not, because we neurodivergent folk tend to be very good at being who we need to be in the situation. Masking. I loved you from the minute I saw you, Colours. Saw your name. Yeah, same. I read the Jack the Ripper biographical story when I was about 7. I wouldn't work in an office, no. But I'm saying, if you were, if I was in an office, I wouldn't be busting out the C-bombs. I probably wouldn't even say fuck. No, I probably would. It's a freeing thing being comfortable, to be comfortably. It's a freeing thing to be comfortably being your actual self with everyone around you, right? That's Camp Shorty. Jim Cox. Everybody loves Jim Cox. Everybody loves Cox. Jim says, I try to be kind always, but I'm also an INTP and a DISC type C. What's DISC? And don't always realize the emotional impact my logical responses might have. Yes. So, Jim, this is because of logical responses also could be categorized with the same reaction that people have sometimes to direct truthfulness, not sugarcoating things, because sugarcoating things is kind of lying, isn't it? It's softening things. Agree. Jim Cox. Everybody loves Cox. Good to see you. Pia loves Cox. We all love Cox.
You're like, okay, this is someone that is probably going to cross a boundary, disrespect me, so I'm going to distance myself from them.
You feel dirty, right? Don't you feel that when you deal with certain people?
What is?
They haven't betrayed you yet, but there's these little lies or little betrayals, and you feel like
it's because I'm the supreme leader.
Dirty.
I wouldn't have said dirty, but I totally get what you mean. But I have, that's one of my triggers, is being spoken down to.
Bloody fucking oath.
So I definitely understand what you're saying.
What do you do?
Don't patronize me, motherfucker. I will rip you a fucking new one.
I know.
I'm curious because
what would I do? Okay, so if it was in business, I wouldn't bring it up because I wouldn't want to show that I'm weak, because it is a weakness. I absolutely see it because it's a trigger. And I think any triggers can be a weakness. So for me, it's my trigger.
Well,
and
people
I've
aren't used to
identified it's a trigger. I know that
people aren't truthful with themselves about how they feel. People, toxic positivity, the shit out of themselves and others. They gaslight. We tend to gaslight ourselves. I've trained myself out of it almost 100%, and it's been quite the journey. But if you're not comfortable or able to be truthful about yourself, because chin up, it's not that bad. People have it worse. Whatever. Then that inability to be really truthful with yourself about how you're feeling, or even to identify how you're feeling, of course, is going to flow on to not being comfortable when others are, which is where I think a lot of neurodivergent folk and or very direct, logical-minded folk like Jim Cox, where we come up against a lot of resistance in the general population because people are not used to it from themselves or from others. I want to change that. We're changing the world, Camp Shorty.
That it means that that's a weakness. I wouldn't want to show it's a weakness. And to be honest, I think part of me is like, it's a weakness and I just need to get stronger. And I tell myself I'm still in training. You're not there yet, Lisa. Like, I don't beat myself up over it. But I do acknowledge it. I acknowledge what has happened. I acknowledge it's a trigger. I acknowledge it comes from my childhood. And I take deep breaths, and I may either go quiet, actually, or I step back and will try and get out of that conversation immediately because I do not want them to see it. But I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I do the opposite with my family. If it's my family, in the moment, I'm like, maybe you didn't realize, but you actually just disrespected me there. So I always then follow it up with, hey, I know you don't mean to. I know your intention. I know you love me, but I feel like you actually just...
Okay, so here we go. I have a new song. It's not in the song list on StreamYard, so I won't play it, but it's called Bait and Switch. And the chorus says, first time blip. Thank you, Dr. Ramani. Great book, by the way. It's not you. If you have had any experience, lived experience with having to deal with narcissists, I highly recommend Dr. Ramani's book, It's Not You. It's a beautiful listen. She narrates it herself. 10-10. So it says first time blip, second, it's coincidence, third time, it's a pattern. So what Lisa's saying here is when she's saying, like, I understand you didn't mean it. You didn't have your intentions. You did not have ill intentions. You weren't trying to be hurtful with what you said to me there. But when that becomes a pattern, you can't keep forgiving people for their poor treatment of you, right? And that's when boundaries come into play. And I've had some, in the last little while, I've had to set some really clear boundaries and be really direct and really forthcoming with what I've observed based on my research, lived experience, and intuition with narcissists. Yeah, another one. And just say it how it is and then leave it. Then grey rock, right? So you can't keep forgiving people and saying, look, I know you didn't mean to, because sometimes actually people do mean to. Sometimes people actually do mean to. And it's those toxic people, those people who don't respect boundaries, toxic people, and people who, on that end of that spectrum, the narcissists, they want to trample all over the boundaries, right? Bait and Switch is a song about narcissism, in fact. And it says, how dare you, sir? Shit, that's assault. Lol. Got to bring it in. Kraken says, Colours, I'm 8 twisted tentacles of unleashed imagination, creating living story worlds and artistic treasures for us authentic as fuck folks, where X marks the spot meets state-of-the-art octopus red waving. No, that's a emote that I can't see on the StreamYard. We have a whole range of autistic as fuck and autistic AF stuff. And I think authenticity often comes with autistic folk, but authentic, we might have to do some authentic merch, I think. This is great prep for Wendy Liar, right? Fucking Wendy Adelson. She's a piece of work.
Disrespected me here.
Hey, chat, we're getting close to the end here.
And it's like, oh my God, no, I didn't mean to.
I'm
this
proud.
Is what I did. I was like, oh, cool. Thank you for explaining.
Speed it up a little.
And if it's me, I'll even
Lisa
say,
speaks faster.
actually, yeah, you're right. Thank you for explaining. I realize this is my insecurity.
Thanks, Shelley.
I have to go and work on it. But if I still disagree, and I think that they actually did disrespect, I will keep going and I'll start to break down what language, what word they used, because I really want to bond with them. And I think that when it's a stranger, if you put guard up, it's not a big deal.
Remember when Lisa Bilyeu was talking to Jefferson Fisher, the short-haired, good-looking chap, attorney guy, who was talking about conversation things to again take your power back a little bit and not diminish yourself in conversation and to not be manipulated. What was I saying there? Can't remember now. Train of thought. Lost it. Boom.
But when you want to get close to somebody, I'm always going to reveal the true, the real me.
Okay. So I feel like with family, I let a lot go with family.
Okay.
Because it's just...
Wait. So what Evie says here is quite lovely. And I, letting a lot go with family, yes. So long as you don't have toxic / narcissistic family members who are actively intentionally manipulating you. Same goes with close friends, work colleagues, workmates, letting them to some degree, but again, first time blip, second coincidence, third time it's a pattern. No, boundaries. I think family boundaries are important too, but this is Greek culture also.
Just who they are.
For Evie and Lisa.
I guess like I've come to a place in age where I'm like, I know who I am, I'm grounded as a person, and I don't feel like I have to argue every point. Like sometimes like I'll have to check somebody here and there. I'll be like, hey, let's relax. And I'll do that. But even with my husband, I'll be like, hey, I didn't appreciate you saying that. But I let a lot go because I found like it doesn't matter.
Thanks, Kraken. See you next time. It was lovely to see you. Thanks for your input as always.
Because you said something. You're like, most of the time they don't come from a place of a bad place. So if I know they don't come from a bad place, why do I have to correct it? Like that's me. I'm just like, okay, that's mom, that's my brother, that's my husband, but like if I'm betrayed in some way, like I will have it out. But usually for me, betrayal, like we're talking true, like you like stab me in the back, wherever you want to, I'm done with you. Because at that point, like you've done so much damage. And I'm very mindful, like my
brain's starting to glitch. But I just thought of something. I saw this and I will show you. Look at this. I got a new phone case because I fucked my the charging port. So this pink sparkles, obviously. And now I can see myself showing you in the delay. And then because I fucked the port and I had a great power bank, but look at this. I got a power bank that's also magnetic, because that's magnetic, cordless. Look, chat. Look at that. So good. 10 Amazon. Like 25. No, 17.25. If you like me have ADHD'd and destroyed your charging port on your phone, definitely have a look on Amazon. That's all. Thanks.
I'm very mindful of my behavior because sometimes we can betray someone and justify why we're doing it, but I have to do this because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do by you in your little head, but maybe not by everybody else, or maybe not by me. And so if someone crosses that line, for me, it's done. If somebody has it in them to harm you in such a significant way, why on earth would I ever want to repair that? I also can't bring you back in. It's just like, look, it's done.
Charging.
Just go. And then I think that's more powerful. And you don't even have to tell people. I've cut people out of my life silently. Why do I have to tell you?
That charge.
I just pull back, and then one day it's like, she's not around anymore. Yeah.
How do you not let that feeling fester or build up then?
Oh, sure, I let it fester and build back in. It's just like, look, it's done. Just go. And then I think that's more powerful. And you don't even have to tell people. I've cut people out of my life silently. Why do I have to tell you? I just pull back. And then one day it's like, she's not around anymore. Yeah.
How do you not let that feeling fester or build up then?
Oh, sure, I let it fester and build up. But I do it in the privacy of my own home.
And it charges really fast.
Yeah, I'll go work out. I'll go run. I'll complain to my husband or bitch to my brother. Like, I'll do that. I let it come out of me. Like, you can't, this is the thing. You have to experience things. We don't want to suppress stuff, because you suppress it, it's going to manifest itself in other ways. So you are allowed to do whatever it is you need to do to move through it. So I do that. Like, I have moments where I'm like heated and angry. I'm not like kumbaya all the time. Like,
I personally like to write lyrics when I'm feeling all kinds of ways. You might have noticed I've written a few songs over the last few months that are rather cathartic for me personally and speak to a lot of people. That's my outlet. Yeah, what did Kraken say before? She screams into her voice notes.
No, like, I'll go through it. I may spend a week in rage, but then I know, like, don't have too much contact with people, like, if it's that deep of a thing. But I've developed over time, again, resiliency and habit. It's just habit, repetition. You bounce back.
Shelley, pause. You don't need a cable. You can put it in your pocket. It's like, oh, well, it slipped. But I at work, my phone dies all the time. It doesn't die, but I use a lot of charge because I'm YouTube listening all day long. So handy. So like literally that whole thing, $40 case and this. And then you can get I have a cordless charger by my bed and one here in the kitchen. And suck it, iPhone. Just because I wrecked the charging port doesn't mean I can't charge it.
You bounce back. You also, like, and I say this in the book, don't be surprised. Everybody at the end of the day is looking out for their self-interests. They really are. not because they're bad people, they just are. And if somehow
there was a plan, Akasha, to take over the world in terms of offering up my music to some big name artists, but if you want to sing them, go for it. Go for it. I can sing, kind of, but I'm too old for that shit. Go for it. Go for it.
How you get in the way of that, you might get either pushed to the side or bulldozed completely. And so you have to understand that. So when you see it from that perspective, it gives you a little bit of logic. I mean, you understand the pain of it, but you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be like, I can't believe it. It's like, I get it. You can say that to a point, but then you know what? Let's move on, because then you get into that victim mentality. Mm-hmm. And that's a really dangerous place to live. I know a lot of people who live there, or I've experienced a lot of people who live there. I've kind of like tippy-toed into that place myself, like when I was much younger. And I'm like, I'm not living in this space. I'm not going to be a victim. You know, I don't like that word. And so for me, the language I use in my mind is so powerful. Like I'm really thoughtful, of what I consume, what language I use to define myself.
How do you do that? Because typically when people go to confront other people, it's like, all right, there's going to be a battle here. They're going to get their walls up. But I've heard you talk so eloquently about the words you use and how you are able to confront people without it feeling like you're being combative. What are the tricks there? Because I love
interesting.
Well,
this is interesting.
Don't take it personal, and don't talk to people like they're garbage. Don't sit there and yell at people.
Exactly. So back to even in the description box when I've been promoting this live stream, asserting boundaries and being clear, direct, fair and reasonable, and kind. You don't need to be a piece of shit about it. Just need to stand your ground, maintain the boundaries you've asserted, whatever it may be. Whether it's like I prefer, like you don't go, I don't know, I can't think of anything. But just be fair and kind. Brain, what is it? Cranial flatulence. Yes. It's really important to just be kind about it and just stand your ground. Same with managing people. Same with nobody likes to be spoken down to. Nobody likes to be spoken to in an aggressive or agitated way. There's times when I'm feeling a little rushed or overwhelmed or inundated with things, or pressed for time, where my communications, texting, typed communications will get a little clipped, a little terse. And I try to say, sorry, rushing, because it doesn't have my normal, like, florid warmth to it. But
you yell at people and talk to them like garbage, you're going to get garbage. Mm-hmm. And so if I want information, if I'm trying to get something from you, or I want to be able to understand what you're thinking, I'm going to speak to you in a way that you understand. But I will approach you one at a time when I am not angry, because there are moments where I'm like, I can't speak to this person. I will not speak to this person. I need to calm down.
Pause again. Sorry, Evie. I'm so glad, Shelley. You know what? The one I saw, it came up. Now I'm getting Kaiko ads on all of my socials because we spoke about it and because I looked it up. But they even have one. I used to be a real skin picky person. I'm not so much these days. But they even have little things that are like in silicone with all sorts of things buried within that little silicone piece. And you get a set of tweezers and you can get in there and put, like, it's kind of gross to me. I'm not someone that would watch those pimple popper shows or whatever, even though if I had my own, yes, please. But not to watch, but to pick and squeeze. But they have things where you can pull out like little rocks and little items and like long hairs out of it. So there's that. If you're someone who is a fidgety person or a neurodivergent person or needs something to fidget with, the range is so comprehensive. An 18-year-old neurodivergent young man, and his occupational therapist mother started this company, and the toys and the range are such good quality. Beautiful.
Calm down. I need to think clearly. And when I get in the right mindset, then I'll figure out how to speak to you. So let's say you're dealing with somebody who's being dishonest and they've been lying to you. Well, one thing to think about is when you approach them, you don't want to say, hey, I know you've been lying to me and this is how I know. think of it this way. Who likes to be called a liar?
No one.
No one likes to
Nobody.
be called a liar. So what you can say is like, hey, Lisa, look, I feel that.
Got to say though, there's times, again, sorry, about the lying. There's a time and a place for being gentle and kind about it. But when you're calling someone out on their bullshit, and it's time after time after time, and it's provable lies, I'm going to be saying, I know you're lying. Like I am going to call you a liar. I actually don't care that you don't want to hear it, because I'm going to say it because you are, and like, get the fuck out of here.
That there's some, you're not being truthful with me about everything. There's some things that you're holding back, and I really want this relationship to work. So I'm hoping we can have an honest conversation, an open, dialogue, and just really kind of get to the bottom of what's going on. It'd really, really be important to me. So I can be as pissed at you as much as I want, but I would do that. I actually did this with an ex-boyfriend. And I suspected that he was being dishonest. He was either talking to his ex-girlfriend or whatever. This was many years ago. Do you think I was livid? I was furious, but I needed to know what was going on. I was like, I need to know. I can't spend time with this person. And so I put on my non-confrontational, I'm going to talk to you nicely hat. And I put on my interviewer hat. And I said, and I just began talking to him nicely, oh, tell me about your last relationship. Wow. It sounds like it was really important to you. What was it like? That must have been hard to break up. Do you really think I want to hear about her? No,
Very
I did not. But I sat there and I remember being on the phone with him, listening to this conversation. And then eventually his walls go down. He forgets who he's talking to. He starts telling me more and more. And as he's talking to me, I realize, oh my God, he's still talking to her.
Wow.
Yes.
Pause. Akasha, that's interesting. When I'm feeling more overwhelmed, or less spoons, when I'm feeling like I'm holding on, only just holding on to my composure, just on the verge of meltdown in life, not right on the verge of meltdown, but when I can feel things are getting a little much, I will switch my notifications off. There's the amazing feature in WhatsApp that you can archive a particular person, so their notifications don't come up. You don't see them. You can still get to them, but you don't get a notification for it. I still have my Twitter notifications turned off. I can go onto Twitter and see them, but I don't get notifications. Some level of notifications at some point gets me feeling way too overwhelmed, depending on where I'm at in my mental health and state of overwhelm. The lying, yes, exactly. Lying is no good. Why won't my mouse scroll? There we go. Oh, that's why. Bottom of the chat. We're almost there. I'm going to stop pausing. Lol, as if I am.
Yes. And so at that point, I got what I wanted. I needed knowledge to figure out, do I stay or do I go? And so because I was able to get that information, I was able to go and leave that relationship and avoid future pain. So there's 3 things you should think about when you communicate with people: body language, verbal language, paralinguistics. Body language is...
I've had silent no vibrate on my phone for 8 years. My very abusive ex, George, controlling, abusive, violent, dangerous, used to absolutely terrorize me with contact on my phone, calls, texts, FaceTimes. And so I used to change my ringtone often when I had to, because I had to have my phone on volume. And after a while, even the vibration was so triggering for me that I couldn't, and I've never had a vibrate on my phone since. It took me a lot of years to even consider having my phone switched on to sound. But these days I have to, and I do while I'm awake. And then not always, some days I still have it on silent because it's a little too much, a little too overwhelming.
How you're seated. So right now, I like you, you like me. And one of the indicators is the way our legs are crossed. They're actually crossed toward each other. If we didn't like each other, we'd be maybe sitting something like this. I'd be a little bit more that way. So I use my body as a barrier. Or even leaning in. When you like somebody, you lean in. And so this creates like, hey, I like you, let's talk. So people are more engaged. Now, verbal language is kind of what we touched on before. Not calling somebody a liar, watching the things you say to them. Even when I would work cases where somebody would steal money, I would never say to them, did you steal that money? Did you take that money? If somebody rapes someone, I wouldn't say, did you rape her? Rape is an ugly word. Who wants to be a rapist? Did you hurt her? Right? So I would be mindful of the words that I used. And so that is the verbal language that...
The thing is, though, that evasive folks and folks who are intentionally doing things with intentionality, they're going to skate and slide around the reality of the situation. Like, fuck around and find out. fuck around and find out. I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. When I've seen the pattern, I'll see you and I'll call you on it, and then we can talk. And then if you don't like what I'm saying, because I know that it's right, I am right. I am not going to gaslight myself or be gaslit. Wherever the cards may fall, man.
That we assess. Paralinguistics is how you say the things you say. And so, again, based on your audience, if you have somebody who's a man who's really strong, who's a boss, you might want to deepen your voice, bring up a little bit more strength. And when you talk, project. If you're dealing with like a young girl, you want to bring it down, soften it, match that person, mirror her language. And something as simple as, look at the words people use, like they like, oh, that's great. You know what I'm going to say? That's great. I even use it when I do emails. When I receive somebody's email and I look at how they introduce themselves. Hi, Evie, dear Evie, hello, Evie. Guess how I respond back? I look at their email. If they write hi, I write hi.
Nice. Good. Akasha says, I do absolutely answer my phone when it rings. Are you being abducted or is someone dead? That is a true story. Lol. I don't do voicemails. If you call me and I didn't answer, probably should have texted me. Full stop. Just text me. So my voicemail message says, hey, thanks for calling. Just so you know, I'm not going to listen to this. I've never listened to a voicemail message. Just never. Like never. So if you need to contact me, shoot me a text. Okay, thanks, bye. I don't do phone calls.
If they write hello, I write hello. If they write dear, I write dear.
And that's to meet them where they are. What is that purpose?
To create something in common. I get you, you get me. Subconsciously, it makes them feel
mirroring.
Like, oh,
it's mirroring.
I like her. She used dear, I use dear. They don't know that I'm doing that. Even when I close the email, sincerely, I'll put sincerely. People like people who they have things in common with. But don't pretend to be something you're not. So just bring the version of you that would resonate best with them.
So you're saying I'm not faking it. I'm just bringing out a part of me that
works with that person better. So for example, usually when I did interviews in the past, I would bring a stronger version of me because typically I interviewed men who committed crimes. And so I had to be fair and balanced, but I also had to exude a bit more strength and power.
Like, why call me? Just
but I remember one occasion I interviewed a young woman. She was 22 years old. She was a babysitter, a nanny. And there was a baby with a broken arm. And I had to interview her. Now, she had been interviewed about 4 times by state police. And they were like, she's not giving anything up. Do you want to give it a try? And I said, sure. So when I saw her and I walked into the interview room, this is my criminal now, right? She was scared. She was seated like this. Her voice was really, really soft and low. And I'm not going to come in there with the interrogator.
Grass is green enough. Do you listen to the voicemail or do you just see who the call was from and was it a butt dial, and then call them back based on that? I just had to clear out my inbox, my personal email account that I've had for, gosh, almost 20 years. It was full and it couldn't receive any more emails. It was up to 65,000 emails. I think like most of them were unread. Yikes. Overwhelming. I feel free. I'm sure I've deleted some documents that I might need. But that's fine. I need the overwhelm less and I need to be able to still receive those emails that I'm never going to open.
Interrogator, Evie, because that would not have worked with her. But what worked with her is, hi, how are you? How's everything? I brought the version of me. It's still me that would work with her. Hour and a half later, confession. Wow. So it's really about paying attention to the person across from you. How do you do that? Shut up and listen to people.
Shut the fuck up.
Talk less. I always say 80% listen, 20% talk.
2 ears, 1 mouth.
When you first meet people and you're trying to figure them out, let them do the talking. Ask open-ended questions. And then that way, let people guide you and give you the information you need rather than guessing. What do I say to this person? Who am I talking to? Let them tell you. And people love to talk about themselves. Let them knock themselves out, you know? Let them tell you everything about themselves. And then you figure out who they are. You figure out how they think, what's important to them, their values, their belief systems, what they want to share with you. And then you can chime in more intelligently rather than guessing or making assumptions and the wrong assumptions.
So how do you do that then? So there's a woman that you guys think has hurt this child. There's an assumption there that she has done it. She hasn't confessed. At what point do you say, oh, maybe she's not lying, or maybe this is an assumption of ours and we are wrong. Like, how do you differentiate, and how do you know when your assumptions are influencing you?
Don't make assumptions. Don't assume your assumptions are facts.
Mm-hmm.
Is it conjecture or
is it projection? Akasha says, now here's a good one. If I do not recognize your number and if you leave no voicemail, you do not really want to talk to me anyway. My iPhone is set to not even registering a call, a number. If someone calls and it's a number I don't have in my contacts, it doesn't get through. It doesn't get through. Not interested. Not interested. Send me a text. Send me a text. Or don't bother.
Or is it fact? My husband always says that to me when we talk. He's like, is this an opinion? Is this what you think? Or is this what you know to be true?
Mm-hmm.
And so approach it from that regard. So in this situation, we had an assumption it was possibly her, but we weren't 100% sure. So when you speak to people, you have to be non-biased. Recognize, okay, I think it's this person, but I could be wrong.
Mm.
The way you should look at it is, I'm going in there to find out the truth. Whether it was the nanny, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business partner, whatever it is, I'm after the truth. How do I get to the truth? I think this is it, but you also have to be aware that there's a slight possibility that I could be wrong. And so if you go in with this biased perception of like, I know this person did this, I know this person lied to me, I know this person deceived me. If you go in with that, no matter what they say to you, that narrative, whatever they say to you, you can make that narrative confirm with what you believe. It's confirmation bias. You can make it fit into what you want, and then you'll disregard the things that don't suit you.
So you say when you're going in, leave it at the door. Don't go in with any type of bias. Make no assumption. Assume that there is that possibility.
What are you after? The truth. You want to know something? I wanted to know that if my boyfriend was still talking to ex-girlfriend. Right. Every part of me wanted to be like, flip him the finger and tell him what I thought of him. But would that do me any good?
Nope.
Hey, baby. Just wake up.
I had an assumption. I wasn't sure. So I went in there, non-threatening, neutral conversation. Hey, I'm your BFF. Let's talk. Oh my God, that's horrible. How did you break up? Oh, I can't. I'm so sad for you. You really must miss her. I mean, it was really hard, but I had to sit through it because
you got what you wanted.
Because I needed to protect myself in some way. And so I need to know what he is doing, who he is talking to.
Yeah. I'm sure people ask this a lot of you, but what are some key things on knowing when someone's lying to you or not?
I just know.
So it goes back to what we talked about, body language, verbal language, and paralinguistics.
So what happens with body language if someone is lying?
Plenty of tells. Me personally, I don't gaslight myself on this anymore. I just know. Like, I just know. It's the lie radar that I have. And I just know. Fuck around and find out.
It's easy and it's not easy. So what I want to say with this, it's really studying human behavior and really assessing the person across from you. Now, if you know someone and you're able to develop a baseline, like you know this person, you know when they're talking to you, how they typically carry themselves, and then you look for a deviation in their character. So if you ask a really stressful question,
pause.
How are they going to respond? I remember once
I clearly don't always know because there's been one particularly noteworthy person in the last 6 months who was absolutely lying to me the whole time. Didn't know. But I didn't ask any questions. That was a whole persona. So the things I know, but I don't know everything. Fuck.
I was interviewing
I Miss Shorty.
It was for a job because you had to take a polygraph to get into the service. And during the interview, I had to ask her about her drug history. And the whole interview, for example, she's sitting like this, she's nodding her head, we're connecting, it's great. And the minute I start asking her about her drug experimentation, her legs started doing this. Just this, nothing else, just up and down, up and down. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking, could be a fluke, could be something. So we talked for a little bit, we changed the conversation. When I changed the conversation away from drugs, her legs stopped. Then I'm thinking, okay, I need to go back to this to see if there's an issue here. So I brought the conversation back. I'm like, hey, I have another question about what we talked about earlier about your drug experimentation. And the legs started doing this. And so in that moment, I knew, I'm like, okay, something's bothering her with this question. Now, I didn't want to make the assumption she's a liar.
Right.
Could be maybe her husband does drugs, her father does drugs, who knows? Or maybe it is her. And so at that point, I become curious. And when you become curious, when you learn to read people's nuances, you become curious and then you ask the follow-up questions. Then you start, I need to pay attention, red flag. And so that's where
red flag. If your intuition and your gut and something in you that you maybe don't want to hear or listen to is telling you that what's being said to you is not on the up and up, absolutely listen to it. It may take that, particularly if it's a pattern, it may take that finding out that it is a pattern. It might not be first time round, but when the red flag or the little orange and pink flags start to stand tall and start, waving their redness at you, it's hard not to gaslight yourself, Pierre. Poppy, for goodness sake. It is hard not to gaslight yourself because you don't want to think that that person would be lying to you, because usually, like, if it's someone that doesn't matter to you, it won't matter to you. Like, whatever. Like, whatever. But if it's someone close to you and who you believe you trust, and then you're feeling like, this doesn't sit right, this feels icky, this feels like a lie, this is too many things now to be anything other than lying, and lying is a conscious decision, it's a choice, right? Then that's when it becomes cumulative, that you have to probably, I feel like it's the elephant in the room, and I'm not ignoring that. Like, your red flags don't fly with me.
That's where body
one's red
language
flags.
What are they doing that's different from what they've done before? Because when we're stressed out, our body bleeds information. So you can sit there and be really calm and collected and lie to somebody, but sometimes the body can't control it. It's too much. There's too much happening. And, there's also this concept about eye contact.
Right.
Look me in the eyes and tell me the truth, right? I can look you in the eyes all day long and lie. So it's really just understanding that person. But if you notice that I'm always looking at you in the eyes, and then the minute I start to tell you something that you're concerned about, I look away. Now you're like, why did she just look away? This whole time she's looking at me in the eyes. I ask her this difficult question. Now she shifts her gaze. So you're looking at the difference. What changed in me? And now with language, there's also things to look at in language. Just a lot of times it has to do with paying attention. So if I say to you, Lisa, what time did you get home last night? And you say to me, well, I usually get home around 6. Did you answer the question? But you'd be surprised how many people will let that go and they will move on. I didn't ask you what time you usually get home. I asked you, what time did you get home last night?
Because people are trying to avoid lying directly. Is that why they do it? And they hope that it slips through the cracks.
It does. Well, look, we all know it's wrong to lie. So we don't like lying. So the most popular way we lie is through omission. We will leave something out. We will be vague in our language. And so we really want to listen to the language. Are people answering your question? When you ask a question, do they respond back with a question? Who, me? Are you talking to me? It could be a stalling tactic. Yes, it's me. There's nobody else in the room. It's just you and I. Who else would be asking you? And so listening to the language that people use. Also, another indicator is usually when we speak, we'll say I feel this way, I this, I went here, I that, I. What you'll tend to see in verbal language is somebody who doesn't use I, it means that there's a lack of commitment, that they're telling you something, but they're not committed to it.
If someone speaks and refers to themselves in the third person chat, that's your best red flag right there. If you experience that, run. Is there no connect between what you're saying and about yourself? Is this a lie? Heaps of serial killers, not heaps. It's a thing. Talking about yourself. Imagine, it's a bit weird if I said, imagine if Lisa said, like, what Lisa likes is to do this and do that. What I like is to do this and that.
Do it.
Tell the truth.
Of the sentence. If I say to you, miss you, love you, can't wait to see you. Okay. I miss you. I love you. I can't wait to see you. There's more of a commitment on that latter one.
Oh,
so
can I just
possibly
add to
assume
that?
Again, assumption.
Also, sorry versus I'm sorry. Love you versus I love you. Like, and don't get me wrong, like amongst friends and stuff, like love you is beautiful. And but it's attaching that I, or like if I said Lisa loves Nicholas Ticholas. Well, do I love Nicholas Ticholas? I mean, of course, but you know what I mean? Like it's not actually taking proper ownership. It's a disconnect between the sentiment, between the I'm sorry or the sorry, or the I love you or the love you.
That But the first person really doesn't miss you all that much, really doesn't love you all that much, doesn't care whether they see you.
So cringe, P.
And so there's so many clues in the things we say. Then also how we say them. You know, do people speak with conviction? Are they vague? So when it comes to deception, people who lie are typically vague, because when you're lying, there's so much more you have to remember. They won't be as detailed.
Wow.
Yeah, I wrote a whole
book. That was fire, girl. And everything is in the book that they can find. Everything.
I just got the book. I'm going to start it after I finish this trial.
It's all the little things. Like there's no gimmick. There's no like, here, just do these 3 steps and you will know.
Yeah.
It's really understanding people, studying human behavior. Look, I'm fascinated by people. And everyone's unique and everybody's different. And so you want to learn people, understand people. And the more curious you are about people, the more you'll be able to read them.
I hit someone with an "I'm sorry you feel that way" when they said that that they could not watch my channel because of all of the blasphemy, the using the Lord's name in vain. And I am sorry they feel that way. I also, I'm sorry you don't want to watch my channel. Not for everybody. I'm just me. I did get the book. That is sometimes valid. Exactly. So I was sorry that this person felt that way. I wasn't sorry for saying "God damn it," because that's on them. Like that's on them. If what I was saying in my live chats was universally offensive to everybody, I mean, I wouldn't have a channel, would I? Nobody would watch. Oh wait, it's because they are crazy. What? Yep. A few times, I've used "I'm sorry if you feel that way" a couple of times lately, and both times because I'm not actually sorry for that. I'm sorry that it made you feel that way, but I'm not sorry I said it that way.
And think what matters to this person. Why would they lie to me? What would be their incentive, their motive?
Oh, the royal way.
And that's where empathy comes in. Using empathy to understand somebody else's perspective. See the world not through your eyes, through their eyes.
I think if you really want to be accurate at reading people, you're looking for what are the hidden emotions.
Kraken suggested another Evie interview, but not with Lisa Bilyeu. So I will put that on my playlist to watch for us. Wait, we will. We won't watch the whole 3 hours. We'd be here for 6, but I will have a look at it and see whether it's something we might like to watch because we love Evie. I think we love Evie, right? So, Chad, thank you so much. Simi says a boy who tried to date my daughter lots of years ago kept referring to himself as we. I feel like that's a God complex. That's a kind of like the royal we. I think, but yes, I'm glad you put your foot down there. Camp Shorty, thank you so much, my beautiful moderators. Thank you for being here. That I'm a Christian, but I find it odd when Christians try and put their standards on non-Christians. Plus, I say that too. Oh, well, I mean, it's a bit of a verbal tick for me. I get in habits of things. I'll say something like we haven't said, like I don't really say Jesus fuck anymore. I know that was highly offensive to some people. It just was in my habit, and I don't, it's out of my habit now. I would prefer not to be offensive to people, but also, come on now. Akasha says, that is what I mean. Like you are reading into a whole situation that is not actually happening anywhere else but in your head. It was probably just him and the voices in his head. We, like the collective, the lost souls. Nick, it always amazes me that some people just cannot apologize or admit a mistake. I find both can be liberating. Absolutely, Nick. Or they'll say sorry, but then back it up immediately with a justification or an explanation. Sometimes I'm sorry, I was wrong, is all it needs. And if you don't believe you're wrong, well then I disagree. We're going to have to disagree. We're going to have to agree to disagree. Also, here's another one. if it turns out that you know for a fact that the other person was wrong, they made a mistake, they were in error of the assertion they made, I'll give you the hot tip. Saying, well, by the way, you were wrong, isn't going to get you far. I know I'm going to be like, like, I'm happy to be wrong, and I was just about to say I was wrong, but now I don't really think that that's conducive to like, nobody likes a gloater when they realize they were right. Like, no, suck it, bitch, I was right. I mean, if you're joking around, yeah, but not in those heated situations. Also, they have no idea what taking his name in vain is. Clue, it's not that. Yeah, it's usually, isn't it? Oh, I don't know. I would assume that taking the Lord's name in vain is kind of shirking responsibility for one's own actions and putting it onto God. That's not right. I believe in the universe, and God is the universe. So I'm sure God doesn't mind, or the universe don't mind that I say, God damn it. Just saying. When I fuck up, I absolutely own it, says Akasha. But if I didn't, and you try to say I did, game on. Like, yeah, game on, game on. I honestly, though, also, like, particularly if it's an assertion that I made. That's easy to just say I made. That I was confident in, that I was right, and then it turns out I was wrong. Give me some grace to just be humble about it and say, yeah, I was wrong, right? We are Nick's dirty little secret. The whole reason I have Alexa. Oh, sorry. I don't. As an example, I referred to someone as being weird at the start of this live. I immediately regretted that, as one person's weird is another person's staple in life. Yes, stay weird. We have merch. Like, we have merch. Have I uploaded the thing yet? Probably not. I've got a whole... No, I haven't either. Fuck, I make all these backgrounds and then forget to add them. I have a stay weird background to put behind our neurodivergent live streams. Weird is cool. It's the same as what's kinky sex. Like, I don't know, what's your kinky? For some people, kinky is having sex on the couch. For other people, it's like hectic shit and ever in between. So it's all relative. Weirdness, like, and also calling someone crazy, don't love it, unless they really are crazy. It would be like that Miller dude pretending to believe in him and run a church, for example. Oh, what's her name? Brain fart. Yeah, Miller. Micah Miller. Micah Miller. Yes. My reply, says Stookie, is usually that, thanks, weird is wonderful. If someone calls me weird, I'm like, yeah, I know, right? Like, cool, huh? Cool. Agree. And then, fuck, I was wrong, my bad. But as soon as someone comes in with, you were wrong, you're wrong, all caps is an extra bonus for that. I'm like, well, Peter says, I'm weird. Laura says, stay weird. Laura says, I'm weird too. But that is what I meant. Hey, chat, thank you so much. 3 hours 48. How do we do this? We've been live streaming for about 69 hours tonight. Thank you. I love you all very much. We're going to go out with Nick's favorite, Chat is Bay. And next weekend, who knows, we might have a jury seated for the Karen Reid trial. We might be doing Karen Reid all weekend. No, I have other things I can't go to work anymore. Thank you everyone all weekend for your beautiful contributions to the channel and to Karen Reid's Defense Fund. I love you all very much. I love your contributions. Very wonderful streaming time, says Colors. Yes, it's very... Simi Sharp is very weird, but aren't all bass players. For example, Flea with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He plays naked. Yikes! And again, thank you, Ms. What the Fuck, for your amazing compilation of every clip I needed in one email with timestamps for the last live stream for the top 10 good guys moments. Thank you so much. That made my life so much easier. Thanks for hanging on, y'all. We're going to be absorbed. Y'all absorbed. Absolutely. See you real soon. Thanks, Lisa. You're welcome, life artists and mods. Have a great weekend, everyone. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, 11 Central, I'll be on Salty Sleuth Investigates with Joe Schmo to talk more things Laurie Vallow Daybell. Yikes. 11 Central, midday Eastern. 2 a.m. Melbourne time. I won't be on camera. Trust me. Yikes. Mwah. Hey, wait. Go change the background. It looks shit with that one. I'll see you next weekend, chat. I love you. Bye.
I love you all so very much. We had a blast just chatting and stuff. Things may have gone a bit off the rails. Professional when all else fails. 'Cause chat is babe, so much to say. Emotes and all the caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. We're skating through all the tough things, learning about this and that, defense motions, prosecution, and narcissistic twats. 'Cause chat is babe, so much to say. Emotes and all the all caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. Community, just you and me. Occasionally, Buster and Poppy. It's the whole thing, Miss Shorty swing. Together we make each other happy.